Ever tried reading while jogging, cooking, or even juggling flaming torches? Yeah, it doesn't end well. But with audiobooks.com, you can conquer books without the circus act. Dive into over 450,000 titles, including more than 10,000 free ones. Get hooked on a bestseller, find your next obsession, or finally read that classic you've been avoiding since high school. And here's the inside scoop. Sign up today for a free 30-day trial and snag your first 3 audiobooks on the house. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
This episode is brought to you by Old Bike Barn. Check them out at oldbikebarn.com or on Instagram at Old Bike Barn. They got everything you need for your bike, whether you have a vintage Japanese bike or a new Harley, and everything in between. They got riding gear. They got their own line of leather and apparel and their own line of knives and stuff they make under the White Knuckler brand. And they're just fucking good dudes. So check them out, oldbikebarn.com or on Instagram at Old Bike Barn. Now, if you have trouble sleeping or you got some inflammatory issues going on, or you just like to fucking knock yourself fucking out, you need to check out Crater Lake Clear. They make CBD oil out of like the finest ingredients. It's all legit. It's not like the sketchy shit you find on the fucking ground floor of a bodega. It's real legitimate stuff made by people that are professionals at this and been doing it a long time. I use it at night and sleep like a infant in Nirvana, right? Check them out, craterlakeclear.com. Use the promo code BigTruth at checkout and you get like 20% off your order. Now, yesterday, I was out mowing the lawn here at Chopperhead and it was swampy and hot and humid as fuck. And I was like, I'm a fucking mess, just dripping. But I was glad that down below, I was all cleaned up and it wasn't a fucking, the Dagobah system down there. That's because I have Manscaped, the Lawnmower 3.0, which is a ball razor. And it's made with these special ceramic blades that are limit the amount that you could get hurt down there. You know what I mean? It's a cut and abrasion and snag resistant, for the nether regions, the delicate areas, but you don't want that shit all fucking hot and swampy. So check them out, manscaped.com, get the Lawnmower 3.0, and they got a whole other array of products that are geared towards genital health for the dudes. And they also got like things like a nose hair trimmer and shit like that. Stuff you need, right? You don't want to look like a fucking heathen. So check them out, manscaped.com. Use the promo code BigTruth at checkout. You get 20% off your order and free shipping. And, if you happen, summer's here, a lot more people on the road, a lot more distracted drivers, texting, smashing into bikes. If you happen to be in the unfortunate situation where you find yourself in a motorcycle accident, you need to check out lawtigers.com. They are a motorcycle accident law firm founded by riders, for riders. This is the one sponsor I hope you never have to use, but if you do, check them out, lawtigers.com, or go on Facebook and type in Law Tigers and then your state. So if you live in Massachusetts, you type in Law Tigers, Massachusetts, and you'll get in touch with the local office. And if you are looking for some new clothes this summer, you need to check out Omerta, toughest and most real streetwear brand on the world. Oh, I was going to say on the market, but I mean in the world. They got the raddest designs, all quality stuff. All their T-shirts are made in America wherever possible, or their gear. They have everything you need, whether it's a T-shirt, tank top, hoodie, socks. I know we're not really in the season, but they got scarves and fucking jackets and hoodie and sweatshirts and, all the shit you need. Check them out. omertamia.com, omertamia.com, or omertamia on Instagram and whatnot. And they have their own app in the App Store, so check it out. If you go to your Android or Apple App Store and check out the Omerta app, it has exclusive deals and stuff on there. But, real fucking, when all these people say streetwear and, it's these companies that are hoity-toity or whatever. This is fucking streetwear, code of honor, fucking code of the streets, keep your mouth shut, fucking, you know, all that stuff. This is fucking streetwear. So check them out, omertamia.com. And if you're into weird shit like the occult or like fucking serial killers, fucking psychedelic drugs, fucking vans, meaning like show vans, boogie vans, fucking choppers, fucking whatever. You need to, if you're into any of that stuff, street weaponry, antisocial behavior, you need to check out my man Zach Doom's company called Heavy. You can check them out at heavy.bigcartel.com or on Instagram at Heavy Clothing. They got rad stuff for for yourself. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just fucking, I forgot to record the commercials when I did this episode last night, so I'm rushing through it right now. If you need to check out Chop Cult as well. Chop Cult is the biggest online like message board and information source for motorcycling, whether you're into building choppers or just riding or whatever you got. And they got a massive online message board broken up by topic, so it's easy to find. They have an online swap meet where you can buy, sell, trade parts. They got an events page and where you can find out about motorcycle events all across the world. And they'll send you email updates about stuff if you opt in for that. And best of all, membership is absolutely free. Costs you the big donut. And they don't ask you a credit card and none of that sketchy shit. Like, you can just go sign up. So check them out, chopcult.com, on every social media platform, simply at chopcult. Now, if you're still looking for more clothes, you need to check out Pitchfork, pitchforkny.com, mainstay in the punk and hardcore and metal worlds. It's the stuff all your favorite bands are wearing, so check them out, pitchforkny.com. They also do a record label where they do the split 7 inches called the Back to School series with East Coast band on one side, West Coast band on the other. They just did a new New York hardcore compilation that just came out. There's still kind of limited colorways available, from different venues, but like I know Generation Records has their own special one, but you can check them out at pitchforkny.com and you will not be disappointed. Satisfaction guaranteed. And if you're still looking for shit, whether it's motorcycle parts or riding gear or just some swag, you can check out my shop, which is Choppahead at CHOPPAHEAD.com. We're a full-service brick and mortar motorcycle shop. So we're not just an online parts distributor or a glorified one of that. Like, there's a lot of people running companies out of fucking storage units. We're a full service fucking brick and mortar shop. You want to check out helmets? We got Biltwell, we got Simpson, we got Bell. You can come in and try the fuck one on. You know what I mean? You don't have to guess on your size and fucking be that dude that has to return it because you didn't read the sizing and you just made a guess and now you got to return it and it's a big pain in the ass. Like, no, you come in, try the shit on. We'll get it for you if we don't have your size in stock or the color you want. We got riding gear and apparel. We got a bunch of shop swag. We're not a clothing brand or a lifestyle brand. We're a motorcycle shop that just happens to have a few rad designs. And I got more coming soon. So check it out, choppahead.com. You need any part for your motorcycle and you don't see it online because, again, we're a brick and mortar shop. I don't have the most developed website. I'm still trying to work that out, but there's only so many hours in a day. But we can get you anything you need. We're set up with pretty much everybody. If we don't make it, or sell it or have it on the website, we can still get it. So hit us up directly if that's the case. You can call 508-995-6764 or email us off the website or choppahead.com or on social media. Instagram is just at choppahead. And Facebook is Choppahead Customs with a K. And we also a full service shop. So if you need an oil change or you need a custom chopper built, anything in between, we'll do that for you too. So check it out. Last but not least, bigtruthpodcast.com. For more information on the podcast, you can go there. And again, like, I'm just trying to rush through this shit. And if you're really into the podcast, and you want to support and have a vested interest in seeing this show continue and grow, you can check out patreon.com/bigtruth. And there's a way for you to financially support the website. The website. I keep saying the fucking website. I mean the podcast. But yeah, you can check it out. Patreon.com/bigtruth. There's 4 different tiers of support. Each come with their own special things. And everyone that listens, I fucking have love for you and deep respect and thanks for and grateful for. But the Patreon members, the Patreon subscribers, you motherfuckers go above and beyond, and literal from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough, and it means so much that you like this enough where you are opting to financially support it. So big shout out to all the Patreon subscribers. Yeah. We got a very interesting episode today, and my man Trent from Atomic Custom, who minces and holds back nothing. So the first half is gets a little political, and then the second half is more about choppers and motorcycle shit and fucking and whatnot. So keep it locked, stay tuned, and we're gonna get into this right now.
Big Truth Podcast. Laying down the hatches! Get ready!
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Yes, once again, we have liftoff. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the Big Truth Podcast, and I'm stoked to be here with my boy Trent, who I've known for a long time, and you know him from Atomic Customs. He's been around in this game for 2 decades at least, and he's you were originally from Montana, then you were in New Mexico, and now you're back in Montana, right?
Yeah, that's right. I started the business. Went to New Mexico, and tried to do the best I could to afford to come home as quickly as I could, because New Mexico was cool, but I like it up here. Less people.
Yeah, well, Montana is one of the last of the freer states, but it ain't cheap to get in over there, huh? And I've looked at property there. It's like you gotta.
Yeah,
but that's good. You know what I mean? In a way,
Well,
it gives you something to work to. Yeah, give you something to work to.
It's good and bad, because Montana is it's kind of swung into the spot where Montanans can't afford it. Okay. And we're getting a lot of Californians, we're getting a lot of Washingtons, we're getting a lot of these communist state type people. And sadly, it's going to change the state. It's just going to happen by proxy. And we get people up here that are, a lot of people say, well, it's the good people that are coming. It's the good people that are coming. True. This guy that owns 20 acres up from me, he's from California. He came up here hunting and everything, but he's what you would consider a California conservative. Yeah. But that's almost like liberal Montana.
That's what I say. Yeah.
It's a different shift. It's a different thing. They're good people. They mean well, but they are not of the, I guess, mentality, more of a Western or outlaw mentality, I guess. They're very rule bound. Like, he's super rule bound. All of them that I've met are like very, very got to follow the rules, got to follow the rules, got to follow the rules, got to do this right, got to be on the rules. Your fence is a little close over here. It's a different mentality. It is.
Yeah, well, I think too, like, because the same thing happens here, like in the freer northeastern states like Maine and stuff, like where a bunch of people from overregulated states like Massachusetts or any of the New England states are pretty overregulated, and then they go to a place like Vermont or Maine where there's way less of that stuff, or New Hampshire at one point, and kind of bring that culture with them. And it is, like you said, it's like the good, most of it is the people that are looking to get out of that shit, but they don't know how much of that baggage is attached to them. And, so even if they're good, well-meaning people, like, people have been socialized into a culture of fucking over-regulation and over-involvement by the government. Like, people don't understand at this point how much of an overstep every level of government it is right now. It was never meant to be this fucking this much, like federal overstep, massive overstep, state massive overstep. Even local, it depends where you live. Depends where you live, and the town or the city that you live in. Even your local city or town government can overstep greatly, and it's crazy.
And then they have, and they're going to continue to do it. They've tasted the power. And when this whole thing, just jump into the COVID part of it here, when bullshit started, I sat right down here with my wife in my basement. I've got a bar down here and it's our little entertainment room. We were having our evening drink and talking about things. And, we were like, right away, my hackles were up. I was like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. This is a flu bug. I said, but you know what? Hey, fuck it. We'll take 2 weeks. We're separate from society anyways. We don't really do a lot in town.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy going for us to just kind of pull out. But I said, look, here's the deal. We'll take 2 weeks. We're going to not go into town if we don't need to. If we do, we'll just go one at a time. Let's just check it out. In 2 weeks, we will fucking know what's going to happen. By proxy through the business, I got contacts in Japan and fucking Sweden, Norway, everywhere, all over the fucking world. So I just reached out to people everywhere, from New Zealand to the fucking, UK, everywhere. And I just said, hey, what's going on with you guys? What do you see? What's happening? And everybody was like, well, some people are getting a little sick, but we just see a lot of government. And that was the common denominator, government. Fast forward to now, anybody that believes in that shit, that it wasn't a tool, and that it isn't a tool for massive globalist change in the world, is an idiot. They're brainwashed fools. And here we are. People are still wearing masks. People are getting vaccinated that have already had COVID and have natural immunity.
Yeah, that's the best one.
I'm just like, and I read on this shit every day. I'm on Telegram, and where you can actually find legitimate, uncensored news for the most part on there, pretty good. Some of the more, kind of extreme pages that they seem like they've been getting banned, because you have to download the Telegram app from the Telegram page. If you get the Google Play Store, it's a fucking censored version. So, getting actual true information has become a challenge in itself, but the information is out there, about the vaccinations and what it actually is and what the poison they're putting in you and what the, projected long term of this shit. There's massive amount of scientific pushback all over the globe, and they're being squashed, and they have been squashed from the beginning. They're hiding their agenda. They're not hiding their agenda. They're trying to keep the agenda pushing by hiding the truth.
Yeah.
And, at this point in the game, I look at people, because I've, on my page, I've been banned 4 times on Instagram, or 3 times. And I keep coming back to just drop breadcrumbs. Hey man, just go read for yourself. The information's out there. Here, look at this. Maybe research into this. I'm not going to run out and go crazy and spend all day long typing and writing shit. That's not my job. They're scientists. I'm just a fucking bike guy, man. That's my deal. I'm not out here professing to know everything, about everything that's going on, but I read a lot and I pay attention, and I'm a fucking smart guy. And you don't even have to be that smart to realize that the fucking thing stinks,
Yeah. And the thing is like, and there's schools of thought, like, cause there's people that think there's like definitely like a globalist kind of agenda. And then even if you don't go that far with it, like when did everyone just stop blindly trusting pharmaceutical companies, especially pharmaceutical companies that like, at the bare essence of things, like a pharmaceutical company has no interest in you being well, because they do not make money unless you're sick. And the longer they can keep you sick, they can keep selling you things to address. That's why a lot of times you go to the doctor, they give you things to address the symptoms, but not the actual cause of the disease. So like,
that's 100%.
I got a headache. Okay, here's some, ibuprofen 800. That'll knock it out. Okay, what caused the headache? Whatever, recurring headache. I'm just saying basic things there. But, like fucking these companies that are manufacturing these vaccines, all of them have like crazy fucking lawsuits against them all the fucking time, dude. Like, and it's like
every day
they're asking you to take shit that has not had any, that's real-time live safety data collection. There's been no safety data. And then on the animal studies, the animal studies keep getting suppressed because animals were fucking dying and shit. And when they get called on it, even when like in Texas, one of the state senators was calling them on it, like they wouldn't answer. And, like they just chuck and jive it. And, I don't know what the hell's going on out there. I just know something really fucking funny is going on. And at the end of the day, the best lesson I ever learned in life is follow the fucking money. You follow the money, that usually gets you where you're going. There's a lot of people, regardless of COVID, regardless of the origins of COVID, there's a lot of people, politicians and mega corporations who are taking advantage of the crisis to the fullest extent and profiting insanely off of it. off of your misery, our misery. You know what I mean? And because everyone's miserable from this, whether you had it or not, whether you lost someone from it or not, like everyone's life is greatly affected from it. And if you're one of those people if you're one of those motherfuckers right now that are riding it out being like, nah, it's cool, man, I've been on unemployment and this and that. Shit's about to get real, dude, in the next couple of years, man. That cannot be gone and sustained. Like, there's going to be, like we were talking about even off air just a little while ago, hard times are fucking coming. Like, you better get ready for it. And I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom guy. I'm, like, just trying to be a realist. Like, we could not have sustained the country being shut down for a year. 40% of all U.S. small businesses out of fucking business. That cannot be sustained. Permanently. Yeah, it cannot come back, like, wicked quick. And in that time, you know, you see massive growth on these box and chain stores like Amazon and like these conglomerates that have their income is like they're like small countries at this point, bigger than some small countries at this point, getting record fucking profits. And it's like, and now you got people trained that, you know, people are still afraid to go in public and go to the grocery store. They're, you know, even in mass, like everything's been lifted. And we were talking about, there's still people, I still see people driving by themselves in their own car by themselves with a mask on. I'm like, what are you afraid of?
They're 100%,
like, you're by yourself.
Brainwashed.
Yeah, it's just brainwashed.
Yeah, they're 100% brainwashed, and they're never not going to be. You can present facts. We've had the largest in history, in the entire fucking history of the world, the largest wealth and power transfer has taken place in this globe, bar none. There's been nothing. Everything this is now is unprecedented. The government controls. 1776 kicked off for a quarter of what we have going on right now.
Probably less than a quarter. I was going to say less than a quarter.
Less than a quarter. Yeah, it's a fucking. We're looking at a free society, a free fucking globe. I'm going to say globe. I'm not even talking about, you know, localities in the United States in general. We're talking about an entire global population that willingly put themselves in prison. Willingly gave up their income. Willingly gave up their health. Willingly gave up their life savings, their families, you know, because we could go into real deep water on suicides, wife and child abuse, drug overdose, fucking all kinds of mental health shit has popped from this.
No one brings up those. Well, when I say no one, I mean mainstream news does not address those topics. There's been literally, I can't say this, and I'm probably just talking on my ass, but I would say there's probably as many deaths attributed to that stuff as there is to the actual COVID virus by itself.
100% for sure. Yeah, for sure. And look up the stats of the deaths related to the vaccination itself. You know, and you can go on that VAERS website and pull it up. And we pulled it up. Oh, I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. My wife sat up there and I was like, let's get some data. I want to do some data reading here. So let's just pull some data. And so we sat up there and pulled it. It takes quite a bit to get through that system, but we got to it. And at that point, and this was several weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. It was before I broke my ribs on my horse and stuff. So yeah, it was a month ago or better. There was 339 pages that were documented. That's 339 pages. Now, since then I've looked up stats. They're saying like something like 5,000 in the U.S. And the last stat that I looked in the U.K., that's just the U.K. In the U.S., 5,000 deaths directly related to the vaccination, whichever one you're talking about, you know, any of the big four. And then in the UK, it's over 10,000. The last stat I looked at, and this was a while ago, was over 10,000 deaths. Now, in perspective, bird flu, they had a vaccination for that. 25 people died. The fucking entire project was nixed.
Yeah.
25 fucking people for a legitimate virus that was actually fucking killing people on a massive scale.
Yeah.
So what do we got going here? You got a 99% survival rate, 99.7 if you want to get real crazy on it, percent survival rate on this virus if you get it.
I always just say 99 point whatever percent, because you can argue the point whatever percent, but it's still over 99% survival rate. And unfortunately, you know, the death rate from COVID, we'll never know the real numbers because, you know, there was a lot of people with underlying conditions. But beyond that, the hospitals had incentives to mark everyone as a COVID patient. And I'm not talking out my ass. A good friend of mine, his brother told me, you know, like who's a hospital manager, but like, if someone walked in the door and had a sniffle, we have to label them as COVID because we get $8,000 per case. If someone got hooked up to a respirator. This is the early days of it. They got another 30 grand. And if someone died in the hospital and it was marked a COVID death, they got another $14,000 from the government. And at that time, you almost can't blame them because it's the fucking, they needed to stay alive. At that point, nobody was working. It was the real, when the real like heavy lockdowns were on and everyone was home. So there wasn't as many people at the hospital and they weren't doing any unnecessary, they call it, any like non-life threatening, like non-essential procedures. So if you had, so one of my best friends in the world is on dialysis and he had a port going into his heart and they were supposed to move it down to like near his stomach and he couldn't move that port and because they were saying that was non-essential, but he's fucked up forever because he's had the dialysis pumped directly into his fucking heart because they couldn't move it because of all the COVID shit. So what the fuck is up with shit like that? But anyway, so the long story short is we don't know the real statistics of what was actually a COVID only specific death, because it's too murky. But that's how it always is, but people don't want to hear that. And they're like, oh, you're I'm being a realist, dude. And I don't know every answer. And I'm like you, and I'm not trying to push any agenda on people. I'm just trying to be like, hey, look, there's other things to consider and
shine the light on.
Think about it. Yeah, think about it, and don't just go by what they're telling you on the news. Because when you look
don't go by any of the news. None. Because Fox or any of it, none of it. It's all bullshit.
Yeah, Fox, fucking MSNBC, CNN, look at who owns all that shit, and then follow that back to all this corporate entity shit, and then it's like, okay, now follow the money there, and it's sad. It's sad that we don't have a good mainstream independent news media that just gives us factual news. It's everything's got its own spin on it now and its own flavor, whatever. And it's
and I kind of look at the good side of it is because like you said, it's easy to get locked into doom and gloom. Believe me, all last year I was in a massive funk because I'm like, here we are. Going back to that conversation I had with my wife, sitting down here at the bar, having our drink and discussing what's going on. I said, look, babe, okay, my line has been tiptoed on for a fucking long time. I live out society. I always have. I've been pretty separate of, that kind of shit, but, mostly normal citizen, just a way.
Yeah.
When that happened, I told her, I said, okay, babe, I have a really strong feeling that there's going to be some time I'm going to leave this house, kitted up and ready to go to work. And I'm not going to come back. And we got to get that conversation right now. Because if something happens and a call comes up where Americans need to stand up and do something, I'm going. I'm fucking going. I'm not gonna march in the street. I'm not gonna go dance in the street and fly a flag around. I'm gonna go do some work that our forefathers did. That needs to be done, and we're still sitting here in a loop. And there's a lot of guys. I'm not calling for any radicalism or any extremism. I can't take it with a caveat, But fuck, dude, we're watching our country and the world be destroyed little by little. Rich people are getting so much richer. Bill Gates is buying farmland. There's major corporations.
That's a scary thing when you see these people that are in these
buying it up.
Yeah, and these people that are promoting virus stuff and fucking vaccine stuff, and then now they're buying up all the farmland. It's like, where's that going? You know what I mean? And then and this is all beyond Monsanto and on the craziness with them. But when I saw Bill Gates is now the largest landowner in the United States, I'm like,
that's right.
Very interesting.
That's right.
It's a very interesting,
very fucking terrifying because that guy's a fucking terrorist, man. He is a human terrorist that is fucking terrorizing the globe and has forever. I mean, the information's out there. You can find it. And people just go on. You look at how they're pushing this vaccination onto people. They're like, oh, they've got lotteries where you can get a substantial amount of cash. They're giving out fucking joints. They're giving out hamburgers. They're giving out French fries. They're giving out donuts.
And that's the craziest thing. Like if you're doing this shit for the purpose of someone's health, and you're giving them like burgers and and donuts and hot dogs and shit, and it's like what I've said. Like if these motherfuckers really cared about you, the whole time they would have been saying, hey, make sure you get exercise and physical activity, and take these, take your zinc and your fucking quercetin and your
vitamin D
and C and all that shit, and none of that was touted until the end when they were like, oh, oh, like people are kind of hip to this, so maybe we got to say it. You know what I mean? But none of that was said.
And they lightly keyed on it. They barely touched the fucking surface of, hey, what about having a healthy natural immune system, being in shape, this body positive shit? You know, they try to dumb down the society, and guess what? They did it. They've done it. Yeah. We've had decades of indoctrination to these people that have come up. You know, I graduated high school in '89, and I look back on my curriculum. We mostly had standard fucking fair curriculum. There wasn't teachers, you know, running around with a gay pride flag on or a Black Lives Matter flag on. They weren't pushing the propaganda back then. It was, you know, I feel like it was still mostly, you know, normal curriculum. And you can look into that by, you know, history has been written by the winners and the whole thing like that to get the truth of World War II and World War I. And, you know, you start reading about the, you know, Balfour Agreement, and you start looking at the Treaty of Versailles, and you look at things that have happened over the years, you know, and Hitler's a big Nazi, you know, he was the evilest man on the planet. Well, you know, there's some back history there. And there's a lot of stuff that I got to scope out on and understand world domination that's happened over these decades, and it's now trickled down to propaganda that's changing the demographic in the future of the world again. You know, they're pushing this anti-white stuff, they're pushing the anti-family, they're pushing anti-consequence. You could go do whatever you want to do. They're pushing this pedophile shit. You know, where's it going to end? When's going to be enough? At this point in the game, I think it's just going to keep rolling soft until there's going to be a pushback at some point, but I just don't know. It's a soft war. We've been in a war for quite a while, and last year was the big ramp up. That was the big ramp up that really should have struck all sides of the coin. They've divided the black man from the white man, and the straight man from the gay man, and the fucking everybody from everybody else. They've fragmented. Everybody looks at each other like you're the bad guy. Yeah. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. And the bad guy's standing right above you laughing and looking right at you. All you got to do is look up. Look up. He's right fucking there. Yeah. It's like, I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're gay. None of you. But now you're forcing me to have some friction there because you want to kill me because I'm what I am. And I'm not really into you right now either, bro. Yeah, so refocus, man. Refocus. Yeah. Look up. Pan out. Take the bigger scope. Scope out. You know, think about it. But
it's crazy, man. I mean, there's definitely... I don't know. And then when you look at, you know, who's funding some of these organizations, you're like, you know, it's crazy. But yeah, man, I think we've never been more fragmented, and there's the people above us, you know, at, whatever level are getting something out of this fragmentation. And
100%. And look at our president. Look at our vice president.
Yeah,
it's a joke. We're being played. It's a clown world. And
no, and I get it. Like like we were saying a little bit before we even got on. Like, you know, we're both kind of outside of the mainstream, and you know, I wasn't a Trump guy, and I'm not a Biden guy. You know what I mean? Or a Kamala Harris guy. It's literally. But like the thing is you know, everyone was so anti-Trump. I'm like, tell me some good things about Biden. I'm waiting to see all the good things that Biden is going to do. And you know, you were talking about, you were talking about a subject earlier, like where you might have to kid up and go to work. Biden's they see that coming because there was something Biden put out the other day where they want you to rat on family and friends if you see someone becoming more quote unquote radicalized. Which what does that mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like
constitutional patriot is what that means.
I know, but the crazy thing about it is there's no definition on any of this shit. And so it's like you can say like fuck the state, and someone's going to be like, hey man, he said fuck the state, and you don't know now is the state going to come for me because I said that? Like, and that's right. And you know what pisses me off is that, you know, like you said, you've always been outside of the main kind of stream society, and I have too. And, you know, I know a lot of people that come from the similar worlds, whether it was like motorcycle or whatever antisocial, like fucking subcultures, like punk rock, hardcore, fucking metal, whatever. There's a lot of people that have bought into the main shit.
Blows my mind.
And I'm like,
blows my fucking mind.
And they're the ones that are going to rat you out. Like, and it's like, what the fuck? And especially when I get so pissed when I see like these fucking crusty punks that are like, get your vaccination, man. You don't care about people.
Yeah,
I'm like,
mask up, bro.
I'm like, did you fucking listen to a discharge record, motherfucker, and see what they're talking about? Like, I don't think you have. You know what I mean? Like
they
fucking,
don't.
You know, and it's crazy, dude.
Well,
and I get kind of the mainstream people going along with shit, but now they've even got everybody on board, and it's fucking bananas.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, face tattoos, fucking people that in the 80s, if you rolled up on some dude that had face tattoos and fucking hand that, you know, he'd be like, phew, that dude's fucking hardcore. You know, that's a bad motherfucker. He's seen some shit or he will do some shit. He's ready to fucking pop off.
He does not give a fuck.
No, now you got these guys that fucking, soy fucking 20, 30 something year old dudes that couldn't hold a fucking bag of salt. You know, they couldn't do fucking shit. And they got face tats and they're all gangstered up, think they're gangstered up. They fucking pee their pants. This is a kind of a side shoot on that, you know, getting back kind of a little bit on the health and wellness kind of a thing. Testosterone levels in a fucking 20 something year old man right now is the same as a 70-year-old man 20 something years ago.
That's insane. And it's
a fucking fact. I share stuff like this, you know, on my Atomic page. And, you know, in the stories, I say I drop the breadcrumbs and let you follow it up. Well, I always get a ton of, you know, feedback. You know, people message you, fucking just tons of messages. I had one guy, he goes, here's the deal. I own, you know, whatever company it was. I employ a lot of people, and they're all, you know, 20-somethings. They're all younger type people. I don't know if he owns like a Hot Topic or, you know, whatever it is, but he's got a lot of younger employees. He goes, every single young girl, you know, we're talking under 30-year-old girl, wants or is dating or is actively trying to seek out an older man to fuck and date. So I'm like, wow, that's crazy. He goes, yeah, get this. So we had this conversation, you know, they have, you know, I guess it's pretty loose there and they're not too hyper on fucking talking about shit at wherever this place is. But he goes, every single one of them across the board said, the problem with the 20-something-year-old guys is they're not interested in sex. They can't get a fucking boner.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, think about yourself when you were 20. I was a fucking boner. I was a walking fucking hard on. I'm fucking everything. You know what I mean?
The shit used to get in the way. Like, you'd be like, fuck, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, God damn, not today.
Yeah.
I got shit to do.
Let me fucking live a little bit, you know, the fucking get out. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Do they think it's from like shit in the food and environment or just or culture?
Food, environmental. I mean, look at the labels. I don't eat box food. You know, I hunt and kill my own meat up here for the most part. Any of the beef or pork that I buy comes from my neighboring ranches. So everything I eat is straight up real deal fucking food. We don't have a big garden, but we always do a little garden, that's my goal this year and next year. I'm really ramping up the fucking gardening part of it. So we don't eat that kind of shit. But when you do, I read labels. You know, we go to the grocery store to buy some stuff and you read the labels. It's not fucking food, man. It's chemicals and shit. Here's your healthy choice cereal. Where's the fucking food in it? There's no food. It's all weird names that you can't even fucking say. Yeah. People eat McDonald's every fucking day. They eat McDonald's. They eat Taco Bell. They eat all this other garbage. It's not fucking food. It's fucking garbage. It's poison for your body. And look at the average man right now. Go to, you know, whichever big show you want to go to and look at the young generation of guys. Sorry, young dudes. I'm sorry. But they're very small. They're very wayfish looking for the most part. You know, we've got a societal thing happening that we're not going to get out of it. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take a long time to kind of go back to a normalcy or whatever. And I don't have any answers for how that's going to happen, but with the food supply we've got and now they're controlling the food supply, they're shutting off, you know, things. They've test fired these shortages. They've test fired shortages on shit paper and basic essentials. They test fired a shortage on fuel this year. The fucking food thing's coming. They're going to do it. I mean, they're going to do it. It's coming. So, you know, if anybody has a free thinking mind and can pan out and, you know, whether you love me, hate me, or indifferent or don't know me, just use your head and think. That's it. I mean, that's all you got to do is just think a little bit. Hey, you know, maybe I should become a little bit more reliant. Maybe I should lift a little bit of weights. Maybe I should go out and learn how to fight with my hands and with weapons. You know, improve yourself as a fucking human. We've got to a point in our society where there's zero improvement. People are not trying to improve, and it's massively pushed that, hey, here's little Timmy. He's fat and weak. and has a lazy eye. Here's little Joey. He's in shape, ready to go. They both travel for the wrestling team. Well, the little guy that shouldn't be on the wrestling team is going to get on the same. So where's the brass ring? You can't reach up. There's no incentive for the better to get better. There's no incentive for the lesser to get lesser. You know, I've kind of gotten on this thing lately where I tell people I'm pro bully. I'm fucking pro bullying. I got bullied. I was a bully. You know, so I've seen both sides of it, and I think that's the natural hierarchy of things. Is the stronger will pick on the weaker people if they can. Now, if you're the weaker person getting picked on, you got some options. All right, make yourself better in a physical sense. If you're unable to do that, make yourself better intellectually. Find your fucking niche and excel to the brass ring. Bill Gates is the fucking richest dude on the fucking planet, or one of them. You know, he's up there. He ain't beating anybody up. He ain't going out there and thugging on anybody. So take the bullying as a what? Be a fucking smart bully. You know?
Yeah.
But the real money is being all of them. Be smart, be trained, be efficient, you know, fuck. But we've got, you look at your Instagram feeds or whichever feed you're on. I get these lately. I've noticed paid advertisements. My fucking feed is flooded with paid advertisements.
And it's all dumb shit. And I'm like, why are you
It's
showing me
vapid
this?
garbage. Yeah, it's some dude or some chick with 50 followers taking a picture of their ass or something.
Yeah.
And I message them. I fucking shit talk them. I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to get in there and say you're a fucking idiot, or what am I buying? What's the product? Why did you pay money to shove this into my face?
Yeah,
you know, what's the point of it? And some of them get their feelings hurt and some of them don't. And some of them like, I'm just trying to build a brand. I'm like, well, what's your brand? What are you building? Well, it's me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you're
what
a brand?
What the fuck is you?
Yeah.
You're a brand?
Yeah.
I mean, hey, get an OnlyFans. I guess that's the thing. Stick shit up your ass. That's what they do, I guess. So I don't know. Find your niche, I guess. But it's a sad play on our society when we got problems and we got smart people that are coming up, regardless of this, you know, food and other stuff. Hey, you know, there are good people out there, and there's a lot of them out there. We got to highlight and bring up people and just get people thinking. You know, you don't have to be rat-holed into these categories that this government shit keeps trying to shove you in. You're white, you're a white nationalist. You're black, you're a Black Lives Matter extremist. You're a black supremacist, or whatever they fucking call themselves now. You know, you're gay, you're some other thing. You're one of 8,000 genders. What the fuck? You know, they've just broken everything down to these crazy fragmented parts, and one guy like me is not going to pull it back. You know, they look at me, they're like, oh, here's a white dude with tattoos on his neck and shit. He's a white supremacist. I can't listen to him.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck. You know, well, fuck, fine. Say what you want to say. I'm rolling for the better good of everybody in the fucking country.
Yeah.
Not
well,
me,
you know, the other thing is, even if they don't think you're a white supremacist, you're a dinosaur, and you're a Cro-Magnon, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
your old ways, and that doesn't count. Yeah. And it's like, well, you know what? You know, like literally my whole point is like, you know, there's no way that hard times aren't coming, and if you're not prepared for it, you're going to be prey. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like I'm going to go after you, but someone is. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you might. You know, when it comes down to it, you might. You're going to do what you got to do to survive for you and your tribe.
And I got plenty of things to make sure I can procure whatever the fuck I need. You know what I mean? And I'll do it. You know,
right.
And you know, but it's like, you know, and it's just crazy. But like, you know, you don't want to think like that. Like at the end of the day, I'm not a paranoid person. I'm just trying to. I'm like a realist, and you just be like, hey, it's better to be prepared and not need it than not be prepared when you fucking need shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to sit there with your pants down going, oh shit, I you know, I saw this train coming, and people told me this train was coming, and now it's here, and it fucking ran me over. You know, I take it back. You know, this you know, this huge movement of you know fucking ACAB and all that kind of stuff, which has been around forever. And yeah, I get it. And early on, when this, you know, these riots were happening, these little communist cocksuckers and these fucking Antifa dipshits and these Black Lives Matter guys and any other, you know, whatever these little spur groups of those two basically same things were going on. You know, defund the police. That whole thing was going on, and I kept posting, "Hey, no, that." I don't want the fucking police defunded. I want them funded more. I want better cops. And then people are like, man, I thought you were an outlaw. I thought this and that. I'm like, well, hold the fucking phone, dude. So think about this. You take away all law and order. What do you got? You got a guy like me. You got a guy like you. We got the fucking power. So what if I just decide that your old lady's looking good today, and I'm going to come get her. And by the way, I'm going to take your shit too. That's a sweet fucking panhead, bro. I'm going to take that as well. What? You don't like that? I'm stretching your neck, because that's how it goes. You know, when I went to Somalia, when I was in the Marine Corps, that's exactly what we were down there doing. Warlords. That's what it was. He who has the might has the fucking right. And shit gets straight up savage in those countries. You know, straight savage shit you can't even fucking think about. You know, it's bad news. And that's what they'll bring here. So I got a lot of flack. I got a lot of messages, and I fucking ripped them right back. I'm like, hey, we have to have a rule of law. Do I fucking think cops are cool? No, I fucking don't. I've been fucking, I get profiled every goddamn time I get stopped by a cop because of the way I fucking look. So, wah boo hoo, fucking George Floyd, a fucking career piece of shit, got fucking, had cardiac failure from a drug overdose while a cop was fucking detaining him. Fuck you if you're going to riot. Now they got statues for this kind of shit. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have been anybody else, but I mean, we're not junkies, so not in that sense. But we got to have the rule of law. We have to have some kind of semblance of authority figure, and there has to be consequences. We've gotten to the part in our society where people have no fucking consequence. There's no consequence. Now, if I did something or you did something, we'd be facing consequences. All right? Anybody else, if you're any segment other than us, you know, white, straight male, you're probably going to be able to slip and slide a little bit, or maybe not even face any consequences. They've got outright fully racist.
You know, the crazy thing is it doesn't matter. Even in some places, there's rules in place now. I don't know about now, but like during the lockdown and shit, where the police were like under like no chase, no arrest rule for a lot of shit. Like, and in California and shit, like as long as it was theft under $2,000, like they weren't allowed to even go after it. So motherfuckers were just going in places and taking $1,800 worth of shit. Cause you know, but
just loading it up and walking out.
So I think, but one thing I think is important to address is like when you, and it sucks is because this is where things get misconstrued. Like when you come out and you say stuff like, you know, fuck this, like BLM or Antifa and stuff, like, you know, people think that makes you racist, but like, the important distinction is here is because with a lot of these organizations, I don't agree with them as well. Like, of course, I agree with the tenet that Black Lives Matter, because I believe every life fucking matters, right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It's just
or doesn't matter at all.
Or doesn't matter at all. Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. But what I mean is like, and like anti-fascism. Of course, I'm a fucking American. I'm fucking born and bred anti-fascist. Like that's what we've been. But
that's
the problem
how we roll.
is, it's not the sentiment that people sometimes are against, and it gets in trouble because people are like, oh, you're fucking racist. It's like, no. Or against the leadership structure and the money that's behind these specific organizations that are twisting the thing, because it's like wicked easy to be like, oh, you're not down with Antifa, you're a fucking racist. It's like, no, I'm not. I'm not. And you know, when Antifa is employing fascist tactics to get their point across, I'm against that. But I'm also against the people that are funding it, and I'm against when like the sneaky fucking communist fucking agenda gets pushed through organizations that should be organizations that are that are not down with that. You know what I mean? And it's all fucking sneaky. And then the other thing is like, to address your point with like the defund the police shit. You know, if you've ever shouted defund the police or ACAB and you've called the cop, fuck you immediately. Because I've never called the cop in my life, and I will never fucking call a cop. I'll handle my own business. But police have a role in society to protect like your grandmother or people that cannot protect themselves. Because guess what? If someone breaks in your house, there is probably like 0.02% chance that the cops are going to get there in time to prevent anything. Yeah. They're going to come after the fact and then try and track them down, and then they're not going to find them or whatever. But God forbid something happens in that time where that person was like, hey, your wife looks good. Fucking let's catch a rape while we're fucking here. You know what I mean? And stealing your shit or whatever. You know what I mean? But, you know, the thing is so you have to be able to defend yourself. But with the you know, and, you know, I've been punk rocking all my life, you know, and I know ACAB and all that shit. I've always been treated for the most part like shit by cops until fairly recently. Like in my town, the cops have been like really fucking cool for some reason, and because we just the way I set up my business and I approach things the right way. And I'm like so used to being shit on by the cops. These guys are like, hey, yeah, it's cool. Like they're like, they don't fuck with me, and it's cool. Like, you know, but whatever. But like, I agree with you. It's not defund the police. It's get better police. And how do you get better police? You invest more in training. Like in Massachusetts, it takes, you put in more hours to become a fucking barber than you do to become a cop in Massachusetts. I don't know if it's like that for everywhere. So, you know, of course, if you got someone that's untrained and you know, like, and doesn't, and is just, you know, and there's, you know, the other problem is, you know, like, and this goes into something you said too, is that there's no accountability anymore. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part, unless a case gets so big and sensationalized, like the George Floyd case, where they had no other recourse but to prosecute that guy. If that happened in some state and it didn't get blown up as much, that cop probably wouldn't have been charged. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, and I'm not saying like, you know, I'm not saying you know, anything unreasonable, but like, I believe like in police, but also in government, you know, just in general, there needs to be more consequences for actions. Like you see it about all the time. These shady politicians do all kinds of shit, fuck people over, and then they step down, and then they get all these like speaking engagements and shit. Like they don't go to jail. There's no like real ramifications or accountability on parts of people that are in power. So like if you're a person that's in power, there needs to be accountability, whether it's, you know, with cops or whether it's with, you know, a state senator or a fucking, you know, a federal president, you know, like whatever level you're at, there needs to be accountability, and there's just none.
Well, you know, public service, you know, it should be that. It should be public service. Your term limits. You look at this. We got Pelosi and Schumer and all these. They're all fucking Biden, a career fucking criminal on tape, saying the most racist, most sexist, outright like pretty fucking pedophilia looking dude. I mean, there's a lot of fucking shit you can dig in on that. A career criminal. He fucking, when he ran in 88 or 89, whatever it was, he's on. He got blown out because he was a fucking liar and a plagiarizing piece of garbage. And he's on camera. Yeah, I did it. I've done stupid things, and I'm gonna do stupid things again. He's our fucking president right now. What the fuck are we doing? You know, quid pro quo. He's on fucking camera doing it. He's on camera doing it. There's no fucking repercussion. They're career criminals that are bleeding the fucking system and becoming rich. Every single one that goes in there is Joe Schmo, fucking regular guy, gets a $200,000 a year job or whatever it fucking pays. They're all of them, all of a sudden within a year, are fucking millionaires. They're manipulating stock markets. They're short selling. They're fucking part of these fucking schemes and scams. They manipulate everything. They send guys like me and fucking other guys that served off to fight their bullshit fucking wars, and they sit back and get fat, rich and fat, and they fucking laugh. And then some fucking schlepper wants to fucking call me a racist or a fucking piece of shit or whatever, because I want to have people get their fucking minds opened up and think, who's the fucking enemy? You know, who's the enemy? I don't want to fight you, bro. I don't. I'm gonna, but I don't want to do this. Let's get our shit together. Let's get this back on track. We got to fucking square this shit up, because it's not, they're buying now. You know, the big thing is these corporations are buying city blocks at a time. Huge chunks of fucking you're paying like 30% over market value on these houses, so they can buy entire communities of housing, then rent them back to you. That new world order shit, you know, that
you don't own
you'll own nothing. Yeah, exactly. They're doing it. They're doing it in real time, and people just aren't waking up to see the big picture. That's why I tell everybody, pan out. Look at the big picture. Stop looking at the tiny image in your mind and scan out. Follow the money. Think about things. Think about how this country was founded. Think about what you can do locally. And that's the whole thing. Me and my wife, never, ever, not one single time have we even held a fucking mask in our hand. And we did everything. We had full mandates up here. It full on. And yeah, I had to talk to people about it for sure. And I've never worn it. I just shared a video the other day because I kept it going. You know, I go out to the VA and they're trying to deny me my care at the VA because they want to force me to wear a mask. And I'm not going to do it. And every time I have the same conversation, basically, that I shared that video where I said, no, I'm not doing it. And I'm an American citizen, you know, the whole thing. And they try to sweat you on it. They try to sweat you. I called the VA up the chain to try to take it up the chain, and they're like, "Well, it's a national mandate, and you know, President Biden has put this on federal areas." And I'm like, "Yeah, but see, my deal was I signed a contract, forfeit my life for X amount of years, and go do all the bullshit fucking wars, and then come back, and the guarantee was that I was going to have health care for the rest of my life. And now you're trying to deny me my health care because I won't get on with your agenda. Does that seem right? But it's happening in real time. It is happening. Yeah. And all it takes for an average dude or girl is just don't fucking wear the mask. It can be, I don't care about confrontation. It doesn't bother me a bit. But some people are very uncomfortable with having, conversations like that are, it's a little stressful. Somebody's jumping in your shit, calling you a fucking killer and an idiot and, all this kind of stuff. Hey, stay cool, stay intelligent, but, be prepared. You might have to let these hands fly. And I've said it to a couple dudes. It's like, hey man, it's cool you're wearing that mask because it's going to catch all your teeth in about 2 fucking seconds. And as soon as they fucking realize I'm legit and I'm real and I'm not playing their fucking skinny jeans game, that's the end of the conversation. They fucking back right out of there. They back right out of it. And I'm like, look, dude, think about what you're doing here. Think about what you're doing because you're imprisoning yourself. You're eroding what we have in this country, and it's a slippery slope. And we've slipped quite far down it, quite far.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of fucking craziness and weirdness, man. And no matter what the game is with it and who's pulling the strings behind it, there's way more to any of this shit than we realize. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh boy.
And and we'll probably never know really what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? But it's
right.
There's too much for it to not be like, by design. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's
it's 100% by design. It's plainly obvious. Yeah. I mean, it's plainly obvious. There's no way around the obvious facts. I mean, the obvious facts, and you people call you, you're conspiracy theorists, they're never going to do this vaccination passport stuff. They're never going to restrict your move. Yeah, they have. They are. They're doing it. Did you see, I think it was North Carolina, somebody sent me something where now a 12-year-old child, 12 years old, can elect to get the vaccination without parental consent.
Yeah.
So, kid goes to school, 12-year-old kid. Think about what you were like when you were 12. Fucking kid, man. You're a kid,
Well,
I was riding my fucking dirt bike.
Yeah, so to speak on that, like in Massachusetts, all the mandates have been lifted. Like, if you've been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask or whatever.
Which is
whatever. So, exactly. That's what I mean. The way this is all handled is so dumb. Like, if they were really concerned about your health, they wouldn't worry about you when the mass shit was going on, wearing a mask into a restaurant until you sit down, then you can take it off. You can spread it just as easily sitting down as you can standing up. Like that type of dumb shit is what used to enrage me. Like, you know what? I get it. Yeah. Like you want to wear a mask and it's fine. Like, I don't care if you wear one or you don't wear one, but these bullshit rules, are what, like if they were really concerned, they would have done a whole 2-week lockdown where like no one leaves the house for fucking 2 weeks. You got 3 days to fucking stock up on every single thing you fucking need to last 2 weeks. Right. And if you don't have it, like we'll give you help to get that stuff, whatever. And then no one leaves the house for 2 weeks. That's if it was a real pandemic, that's the type of shit that would have happened. Not like, you can do this, and but you can't, and you can stay open. Yeah. And, Thanksgiving dinner, you can't have family over your house that doesn't live with you. But the next day, you can go to Black Friday sale and jump over 1,000 fucking sweaty fucking hogs trying to get a fucking TV for fucking $40 off.
Yeah.
You know
Spend your credit card money. Spend your credit card money. Spend that credit card.
There was no rhyme or reason to anything, and that was my only problem with everything. But so what I was going to say though is in Massachusetts, most of the people that I still see wearing masks are fucking kids. Besides old, like elderly people, which I 100% get. Like, or someone who's sickly, I fucking 100% get it. Like, you should probably wear a mask anyway, not just even because of COVID, but just in general. You know what I mean? But the thing
you're an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah. But the crazy thing is they've indoctrinated these kids who really have the least danger from COVID out of anybody. You know what I mean? And they got them, so these kids are fucking petrified, and they think they got to wear a mask everywhere. And it's like, how is that affecting these younger generations of people? They're going to be brought up more to just be in line, like just little.
It's devastating. Obedient. It's absolutely devastating. Yep, and terrified, scared shitless. Scared of black people, scared of white people, scared of gay people. They've created this fear in everybody. Well, maybe there's some of these pedophile stuff because now they're trying to normalize that as part of the. I don't even know all the letters that they use anymore. I can't keep up with their fucking ridiculous agenda. But they're like, pedophilia is a sexual preference. No, motherfucker, you fuck a kid in front of me, I am skinning your fucking ass alive. If I find out about it,
it's a fucking crime,
you're in
dude.
trouble.
It's a crime,
Yeah,
dude.
It's a moral crime, and not even mattering about crimes on the books. And California backed up their fucking laws on fucking kids. Now it's within 10 years old, or 10 years difference. So if you're 21 and go fuck a kid, it's no longer prosecuted like it was. So
that's crazy.
They're doing these things it's insane. They're doing these things in real time, right in front of us. And like you said, I see kids wearing them, and every time I say something, when I see parents, I'm like, yeah, that's a good look you got there, and you're making your kid wear this petri dish on its face. That's right away. I'm like, they're like, masks. You got to wear a mask, and I'm like, what the fuck is a piece of cloth or a homemade shirt? Everybody was selling their cool, edgy fucking masks, with whatever devil worshiping shit or whatever cool edgy thing they think they got on there. It's a piece of it's a t-shirt. It's a cloth. Yeah. Do you know anything about fucking viruses and germs? Yeah. Bro, you
see what a virologist wears? They look like they're in a self-contained suit that's pumping oxygen,
clean,
into it.
Fresh air. Yeah, hermetically sealed. That's medical shit. If you want to keep yourself safe, that's how you do it. By breathing your exhaled waste air in a moist environment all day long. Then these motherfuckers are touching screens, handling money. That's stripper ass, dude. That's cocaine and stripper ass all over that shit. There's fucking diseases and shit all over that. Not that I'm opposed to either one of those things. I love them, but getting that shit in your face and holding it there and growing a fucking petri dish on your face all day long. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. And then they're like, wear two. Remember the gig. Wear two. Well, maybe you should wear 4 masks. I read something where they're like, we recommend 4 masks. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. I mean, and people did it, dude. They did it. They did it, and they're doing it. And at this point in the game, we're so far down that fucking hole right now. The information's out there. There's highly fucking reputable, world-renowned virologists and medical professionals that have came out and said, whoa, 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 this is wrong. This is the medical facts that you need. And they've been squashed time and time again. Yeah, it's not hard to find the information, and people keep doing it.
And just so people know, like, a lot of that stuff, like, will get shut down off of YouTube, and it makes it hard for you to find it. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be up there for like 2 days.
But it's out there.
But it's there. Yeah. You got to do some digging. Yeah, for sure.
You got to do your research, but like it goes back to the thing of the lazy society. We're there, dude. It's the softest society we've ever had. Just like we talked about, hardcore scene guys that we're fucking gnarly dudes. The people that portray that image right now are the softest goo bags ever. They're masking up. They're anti. We're antisocial. We're fucking punk rock. They're on Joe Biden's dick. They're on the fucking New World Order's dick. You ain't punk rock. Yeah. You're a fucking, you're a tool, man. Or you're a fucking brick in the wall.
And it's like, well, Fauci, like he admitted, they were like, yeah, we lied at first because we didn't want there to be a big run on masks and we wanted to make sure our medical professionals got them. I'm like, all right there, dude, you got no credibility. Like you just
lied. You fucking just admitted you lied, and you got the Fauci emails out all over the place right now, proving it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, no one wants to pay attention to that. And then, but also, never mind, like, dude, you were the dude that were killing AIDS patients with AZT, like saying it was safe, and that was killing more people than AIDS was. You're obviously
information's out there.
Yeah, obviously you're a shill that's bought and paid for it, like to give whatever spin whatever narrative needs to be spun for whatever agenda it is.
It's just crazy, and until we get enough people, and the good part of it is by design, by the natural progression of things, there is a pushback happening. It's starting to get better, but it's going to be decades. It's going to be a long time. We're going to go through a lot of shit before it gets into any better situation. And for anybody that is listening, like, what do I do? What do I do? I get people messaging me all the time. What do I do? I get everything you can imagine as far as questions, and I'm like, look, man, I don't have the answers. What I did is I got out of society a long time ago and lived on the fringe and did my thing. Unfortunately, when I started my business building the choppers, the time was right. I didn't start, doing that shit because I wanted to be Joe Chopper, fucking famous guy. I did it because I got fucking divorced And my ex-wife at the time fucking pieced out, went to fucking New Mexico, and then got back, got a hold of me, whatever, a couple months later, and said, "Oh, I made a terrible mistake. I want to get back together, but I can't come back home because I'm embarrassed that we got divorced." The whole thing. And I'm an honorable guy. I'm a fucking duty-driven guy. I've got a fucking real, that's how I am. And, my word and honor, the fucking whole thing. I walk that walk. So what did I do? I quit my job of 7 years, cashed in my 401k, sold my property, sold all my bike stuff, sold all my fucking hot rod shit, and cashed, banked out, and loaded what I could into a U-Haul, and I went to fucking New Mexico. When I got there, I'm like, okay, well, I've sold a couple bikes. A couple people know who I am. I've got kind of a reputation started. Back then on the forums. Like the fuck choppers and punk rock forum, early day, old school shit. The old stuff. Yeah. And so I was like, hey, I don't need to sell too many bikes. I'm not a fucking greedy guy. I don't live like I don't have that high living kind of idea. I'm like, I can make do. I'll get by. I'm a welder fabricator. At bottom line, I can just fucking go weld. That's it. It's simple. And in the meantime, I'll take my VA, the GI Bill that I had left, and I'll try to go to school. And I only had a year left of it at that time. And so I went and I started building bikes. I just invested in myself. So I think that kind of comes part and parcel to why I kind of rub wrong against a lot of the current guys that are in the scene, because they came into it through, I guess what you call not pure methods, not pure means. They didn't grow up on the bikes, and I respect guys that did, and they got into it, and they found something they love, and they go on to it. I grew up doing it my whole life since I was a kid, and it was just a natural progression to me. I was like, well, This is how I can make muscle and money. I'm a hustler. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do what I can do and make it happen. And I made it happen. And now you see guys that they come from rich families. They got money kicked down to them. They want it. They go slap some tattoos on and get an outfit, and they're invited to the next big thing. Oh, he's an invited builder. Who is he? Has he ever had a bike? Does he even ride a fucking bike? Well, yeah, he's got this Panic. Well, has he done it? Where does he go with it? What does he do with it? Nowhere. Yeah. It's all about going to the show. So the whole scene and everything is kind of changed. And honestly, I pulled out of it a long time ago. I mean, I never was really what I considered in it. I went to a few of the invite shows, and it's just not my fucking bag, dude.
Yeah.
It's not my bag. Yeah. I'm not going to sit there and brown nose you and pat you on the back and say, killer bike, bro. That's not me. If I see something that I like, I'm like, fucking cool. If I see something I don't like, I'm like, cool. I don't care. I don't care what you do. And I think over the years, a lot of people are like, oh, Trent's got this big ego and he's this guy and that guy. Man, motherfuckers don't even know me, and I've had a lot of guys that have had chance that didn't know me. Well, I heard this about you. I heard that. And I was like, well, who told you that? Oh, I don't know. I don't want to tell you. Well, okay, fine. Whatever. I don't fucking care. But here I am. This is me for real. That's not what I am. Hang out. Fucking have a drink with me. Fucking, burn one down. Whatever you want to do. Chat me up. I'm not what you think I am. I'm a fucking real guy. And I just, maybe I'm a little more coarse. I don't fucking have any fucking padding on me at all. I've never lived a padded life. I fucking just don't. It's not in my makeup. I just don't have it. So I think I just kind of clash with a lot of what's going on.
Sure.
And not knocking any of the big shows. I fucking hate them all. I don't like any of those shows. I don't want to go to any of them. I know all the guys, well, not all, but most of them that put them on, and a lot of them are fucking great guys. I got no beef with any of them. It's the scene. It's the capitalism. It's the capitalism that it turned into it. You got Harley Davidson Factory sponsoring chopper shows. No, it's always been fuck the factory, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because Harley's such a weird case as a corporation, right? Because it's like everyone loves and hates them, right? And it's like, and it sucks because it's unavoidable. Like they're responsible for a lot of the things that I really love in life, but I also, as a big corporate entity, I fucking hate them. You know what I mean? And it's like, they'll do things to fuck us. But then they'll sponsor chopper shows. And I'm like, what is it, dude? Do you want to be part of it? Or do you want to just fucking keep condemning it? Because people don't realize a lot of crazy motorcycle legislation comes from things like Harley. You know what I mean? Like they've put through, they put through sketchy fucking legislation that fucks custom builders. You know what I mean? And it's like, how much you gonna love them? You know what I mean? But
I know,
but it's weird, dude. Like it's weird.
It is a weird situation.
But the funniest thing you brought up, because when you bring up the fuck board, the choppers and punk rock board, right. Like, you had to be fucking thick fucking skin to fucking stay on that board, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And I can't imagine like half these kids now like surviving more than a day.
Oh, dude.
Especially when fucking King Asshole would start up on somebody. You know what I mean? Like fucking that shit. I still laugh about shit like that. I still laugh about when Dave. You know, and you meet Dave. He's like a great dude in person. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
He just
and he's no joke. He's no joke. He shit talks a lot, but he'll fucking back it up. That dude will back it, you know. All my people, all the guys I like are just like that. You meet him in real life, you're like, yeah, that dude's got a fucking, you know, he looks like he's been around. He's got some scars. His knuckles are busted. He's got a fucking cauliflower ear. You know, he's like, hey, I'm a fucking real guy. You know, I'm a real guy, and I might say some shit. I'll shit talk you, and I goddamn will fucking handle it in person. And if you're fucking a big motherfucker, well, I'm gonna fucking do the best I can, but I'll probably fucking shoot your ass.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to get fucking jacked up. I'm smart. I've fucking been in the fight game a long time.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference between a big guy and a little guy, no matter how little. But, you know, I walk around these days about 185, but during the fight stuff, I was rolling at 55, and people would meet me and they're like, God, you're a lot smarter than I thought. And I'm like, yeah, but I knock out 200 fucking pound guys, 250 pound guys, you know?
Yeah. Well, so, you're at fight weight. You're walking around weight. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not fucking cheeseburger weight.
Yeah.
Light.
And that's crazy. The thing, man, is like, you know, but at the same time, like, you know, like, you never go out of your way to be an asshole. Like, you know what I mean?
No fucking way. No.
And that's what I like.
Nope.
I same thing, dude. My biggest respect, and it's like I even threw it out earlier on a Father's Day post to give shout out to my dad, because like that's how he was brought up. It was like, yo, he's like, you know, he was always like, you know, he always instilled a strong work ethic in me, but he was a jackass. So he always had fun, you know what I mean? But he's like, but if you got to handle business, you better handle it. Like, you know, like he put me on the bus. Like, I remember kindergarten, first day, he's like, you know, he's like, you're going to school, like, you're going to meet a lot of kids you don't know and stuff. There's going to be some kids that are cool, some that are not. Like, you know, but if I find out you're being a dick, like, I want to smack you, you know, give you a smack. But if I find out some kids are fucking with you and you don't stick up for yourself, I'm going to smack you, you know what I mean? And my dad was heavy-handed back in the day, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because he was, you know, he had me when he was fairly young, his early 20s, you know, so like, you know, so he was still, you know, whatever, but you know, it was a different world back then, you know, and
it is.
And that's always stayed with me. Like, I don't go out, like, it's like you, like, you know, I'm at a point now, we're the same age, like, I'm not trying to go out of my like if I gotta handle some shit, I'll do it. But I'm actually gonna go even crazier because I'm doing it so begrudgingly now. Like when I was a kid, let's fucking throw. I don't give a fuck. You know, you're bigger than me. That's cool. Like fucking, I'm still gonna swing. You know what I mean? But now it's like, dude. And also now, you know, we're at that stage where we got, you know, we got stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's it. You got skin in the game now. You got a lot of skin in the game.
We got stuff, and people will start a fight, and you'll end it, and then they have no trouble fucking trying to lawsuit you. You know what I mean? And it's like, so you got to be smart about shit. You know, it sucks. You know,
it's a bad thing, and I firmly believe. You know, when I grew up, my stepdad was a fucking dildo. The guy was a fucking asshole, but I don't hate that guy. I don't use it as any kind of thing. You know, I moved out in my last year of high school because I knew I was going to the Marine Corps. You know, I was like, well, and they were going to move out to fucking Seattle, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I got 1 year left of high school, and I'm fucking pumping straight in the fucking Marines. I'm not leaving. And me and him fought all the time. He used to fucking beat the shit out of me, and he's a fuckhead on all levels. But I wouldn't change a single fucking thing about how I grew up because it forged me. It forged who I am. At a very young age, I realized, hey, you got one person that's looking out for you. You got one person. It's you. You got to take it on yourself. No crutch, no excuses, no fucking boo-hoo. And my dad's a fucking mean guy, and I'm going to become a piece of shit. Nah, man, it's up to you. It's an individual choice to become a piece of shit, or it's an individual choice to excel and fucking move above and become better. You know. And we got this part in our society where you can't spank your kids, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. Somebody's looking over your shoulder all the fucking time, and we're losing it. We're losing it. You know, other countries are not doing that, and we're losing it in this country in the name of, you know, political correctness or, you know, whatever. You know, and not to say that, some people get a real fucking bad go in life. I mean, a really, really good friend of mine who's an amazing horse trainer up here named Tristan Baroni, Notorious Horsemanship is his gig. Fantastic dude. I think he's from like Missouri or, you know, somewhere down the south, but he had some problems. His family had drug problems and stuff like that, and therefore his mom would bring guys in, and he got severely, fucking abused, like broken bones, pelvis, real hardcore shit. No fucking problems in this dude. He fucking pieced out, got a rodeo scholarship, came up here to MSU, made his life, got on with his life. It doesn't get him drugged down. And you hear some other guy, oh, my dad spanked me, and I'm a fucking heroin junkie now.
Yeah.
It's like, you're just weak sauce.
You just gave up. Yeah, you gave up. Yeah.
You gave up. And maybe you didn't have it in you. I'm a firm believer in genetics. And there's nature and nurture, of course, and when the two things come together right, that's when you get the super person, the person that will excel and move up and ahead. And then, there's a lot of bad genetics out there. And sometimes, bad genetics makes bad genetics, and you got no choice. You're dealing against a fucking stacked deck. And sorry to those people, but I always lean towards nature. Nature fucking eats its weak, and we don't. We uplift the weak and we downgrade the strong, and that's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
It's a mistake.
Surely come to bite us on the ass. Some fucking country comes in here, tries to fucking, you know what I mean? Like fucking, like you think in Russia, dude, those motherfuckers are like being like, everyone gets a trophy. Fuck that. Those dudes are fucking still fucking hard, dude. They're still fucking rolling hard. You know what I mean? They're like, fuck you.
They're rolling harder than ever now. Same with China. They're pushing masculinity, which is how it should be. Masculinity is fucking amazing. It is great. Femininity is amazing and great. This feminist movement is a terrible thing because it is not providing any up for the woman. People are probably going to get pissed what I'm about to say right here, but men and women are not equal. That's a fucking genetic and scientific fact. I'm sorry. Men are stronger, denser bones, thicker muscle structure, the whole thing. That's how we're designed. Now, not saying that women are fucking weaker in overall sense. They have their fucking power. They can fucking make babies. They can feed babies. They can, they can do everything that we can do on different levels, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the thing is to say is like, we're not the same genetically. You know what I mean? Like
we're not. We're designed for different purposes. That's a fact. Yeah. And it doesn't do women or men any good to try to fucking split the middle and say we're equal. Same military, all this kind of shit. It's a real travesty, and it doesn't do. It destroys everything. It destroys everything. These type of movements destroy everything that is good, and it's too bad that so many people get propagandized into believing this crap. My wife, woman, strong woman, smart woman, amazing woman, forged a career in a man's fucking environment, and she's the top of the fucking food chain. That woman is amazing. I mean, amazing. And she sees this shit, and a lot of people that she knows, other women, her friends and stuff, are also fucking high level people in their fucking industries. And we talk about this shit, and they just laugh. They just laugh at it. They're like, yeah, but look at all these people that are complaining. They're schleppers. They're junk bags. They're fucking nothing. They have no skin in the game, and they're going to try to pull you down. Nobody helped her out. She's had to deal with fucking people harassing her. She's a fucking hot chick. She handles it. She fucking handles it. Not by fucking calling the cops. Not by fucking getting people in trouble at work or getting them fired. No, she fucking handles it, and then it goes away. That's it. That's it. Be a strong woman in your own sense. You don't need a crush. You don't need to be equal with a man. You can bang it out in our society. It's not. We're not breaking rocks out here every day. It's not that kind of society we live in.
Yeah.
And I think more people start coming, and it seems like people are kind of getting back to a more traditional sense in the country. At least I see it a lot. Maybe it's just because that's what I look for. Yeah. I look for people coming up, like, hey, I want to move out farther. How do I do it? What do I do? What would you do with this and that and everything? I'm going to go, well, sadly, the hard thing, I'm kind of lucky because I just, have always been out, and I've always been pretty savvy about, taking care of my business and getting things and making moves towards a goal. And it's tough to break out and get back to a traditional sense, but you can do it in your own yard, grow a garden, get some chickens, work out, fucking all that kind of shit. Just get a little more traditional and get away from the agendas. We keep moving back to this agenda, but
Yeah, no, I mean, literally,
It permeates everything.
a bunch of your stress will go away if you turn off the TV and don't look at the news. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, and then you go outside and you're like,
I don't watch
oh
it.
shit, look at
Yep.
life is nice outside. It's a nice day. People are fucking out and about, smiling. You know, well, know, whatever.
We live in a beautiful country. Yeah, we live in a beautiful country, and that's I've gotten to the point like I said last year, I had a real hard time, and I was just rabbit holing everything. But it got me reading. I don't watch news. Like I said, I don't watch network TV or any of that shit. But it got me reading and finding alternative sources, and and you got to go into both sides of the fence. You got to go into these extreme leftist type fucking pages, and you got to go into the extreme right wing pages, and you can fucking find good information on both sides of it. If you're a smart guy, you know how to fucking weed through what's bullshit, what's propaganda, and what's not, and then you can pick up those breadcrumbs. And that's what I did. Start reading history, start learning more about your personal heritage, be it for Africa, fucking China, fucking wherever you come from, fucking Norway, whatever. Embrace it, learn it. Your ancestors are the fucking root, and that's kind of what they're trying to do right now. When we talk about fragmenting, they're chopping down people's roots. They're making it to where you can't do that. You don't want to look back at you. Why would you do that? That's bad. You're a bad person. You're literally Hitler or whatever. It's like, no, I think that everybody should embrace themselves, but I'm not putting down anybody else. I'm proud of fucking being white. I'm Norwegian, fucking Irish, Scottish. I'm proud of shit. Them motherfuckers are building boats and flying across the ocean and shit and fucking fighting and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Why wouldn't I be proud of that? Find something and learn history, just open your mind and kind of just fucking pay attention. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just get out of the funk of indoctrination and like the fog that they
turn your
got
TV
people
off.
in, and just look at things with clear perspective, man. And
right.
But yeah, so you start talking about like the origins of Atomic, like, and when you moved out to New Mexico. When I first met you, we were still both doing Triumph choppers. Like that was, I don't even know, was that like 15, 20 years ago? Like
something like that. At 2000, early 2000s, right there, somewhere right in that range. Yeah, I did a couple Triumph choppers.
Yeah, I remember.
I like them. My dad's a Triumph guy, so he had Triumphs, and I had a few Triumphs over the years, but I just like more power. And I was like, these Triumphs don't run that great when you put too much power to them. And another honest reason, back in the days, I did like a 56 T110 and a 67. And I did a few bikes, and it just didn't bring the money that a Harley did.
No, but I just mean like I remember when you were still doing those, because I remember one of them was the black one. It must have been the 67 or something. It was a cool fucking bike. But what do you got going on now? I mean, what I always like about you is like you said, you're a hustler. Like obviously, like and I've seen through the years like your game stepping up. Like, oh man, how do you fucking get that car? Like especially with like the cars and shit. I'm like, God damn, dude, what the fuck did he trade to get that fucking shit, man? Because like, and I know like you like dickered it up, like from like just building up and like like you got some heavy hitters in the hot rods and motorcycles and like, so what's going on now?
So right now, kind of getting back to that, and I've kind of had I've had a lot of people over the years like ask, how do you do it? How do I start my business? How do I do it? And I'm like, well, one, you got to have confidence in your abilities. One, you got to have abilities, and you got to be realistic what your abilities are. I'm not a fucking great machinist. I can make parts, and I do make parts. I'm not a fantastic machinist. So the smart man goes, well, I'm good at this, I'm good at this, and I'm good at this. I'm going to take those three things and line them out. And I'm going to take this other stuff that I'm not that good at. I'm going to get better at it. But what's my financial gain? Can I go spend $100,000 on a Haas? Sure. Is it going to do what I want? Am I running like that? No, I don't want that. So at any time like that, I'd hit up, Paul Bare Knuckle Choppers. I'd be like, hey man, he had a CNC, or, Eric Heckman, or, some of these other guys that have full blown big machining facilities that have the fucking technology and the equipment to do it. Yeah. I'm like, here's my drawing. This is what I'm looking for, Yep. I don't have an ego where I'm like, I have to make every fucking bolt on my bike. I want my bikes to be fucking bulletproof. I want them to run. And that's a caveat, because I send them out of here running, and knock on wood, I've had extremely great luck with very few fucking failures over the years on bikes. Now, the customer is a huge part of that. The few failures that I've had was customer stuff. They don't know how to run their equipment right. They mistreat it, and then it breaks. And then, they come at you like, well, hey man, are you going to make this right? And I'm like, well, dude, you fucking blew up your motor. I mean, if I can't help you with that, and you ran it out of oil or whatever, there's always a caveat, but you build in as much foolproof as you can. My fabrication, you're not fucking breaking it. My assembly, bikes aren't coming apart. They're not falling apart going down the street, and I'm not putting crappy parts on that aren't going to work. So if I'm not comfortable making a part or making a piece, that needs to be machined or, whatever, hey, I'll farm it out to somebody that is at their top of their game.
Sure.
So then you're getting all the A+ parts, you're getting all the fucking gold star parts, and then you put those together. And in these day and age, right now in 2021, it is the fucking easiest thing in the world to build a radical fucking bike. There are so many legit, really good guys out there making really legit parts that you can just go be like, hey man, fucking Boosted Brad makes some killer mids. I'm going to grab some of those for this bike rather than, kind of cobbling some stuff, because a lot of people don't have the fucking skills, but they have a vision. And historically over the years, I used to kind of look at guys' bikes and I was like, well, that's a fucking, sucker punch Sally Kit bike or whatever it is, and you'd be kind of like, that's not real, this is kind of a piece of shit. But now there's a conglomeration of parts and good stuff where, hey man, it's easier than ever to build a bike. It really is. Back even at 2000, which when I say the word 2000, to me it just seems like, that's modern times. Y2K shit, that's modern stuff. That's new times. But fuck, dude, that's 21 years ago now. I know. We're old. Yeah. We're fucking old as shit. Yeah, so buying parts back then, you were making, like I started, my first things when I really started making stuff is I would take a part, a completed part. I'm like, well, I don't really like the way this works, or I don't like the aesthetic, or I don't like the angle, or whatever part of it I didn't like. I'd hack up that part, modify it, make it my own part, and then that was my part. And it was great. That was great because there wasn't a huge availability unless you wanted to just get those, those shitty old Taiwan Ted kind of fucking forward controls that were real ratchety and they all stripped out and fucking fell apart, that kind of garbage. I'm like, this is crap. I can't use this. I got to make something better. And so gradually you develop your skill set and you make your own parts.
Yeah.
And at this day and age, and like I said, when there was stuff that was really challenging or was in a media that I wasn't able to work with, like when I first couple bikes I built were literally in a 10 by 12 shed, dude. I mean, that was it. That was what I had in my old place up here before I left Montana. That was it. I got some pictures of me out there, building shovel heads on my floor and stuff. That's just how I went. But now, we're pretty lucky. Maybe not lucky. Maybe I don't like it. I think it was better when it was a little. Struggle makes better people. Struggle makes it so you appreciate it. Now guys just go click and buy it, and you can build an amazing bike just by proxy. So I kind of have a duality there. I'm like, yeah, I like seeing the guys making the good parts, but then again, I don't like the buy-in guys. And there's always been buy-in guys, but in the old days, the older, I guess it is old days, 20 something years ago or whatever it was, it was just a different game. And honestly, there wasn't a lot of fucking hate and friction between the builders. I don't remember. Do you remember any like big beefs between guys? I don't.
Not really. No.
Not really, because we were all kind of doing the same shit. We were all just dirtbags, wanted to be fucking punk rocking outside.
We're all,
riding
we're
our
all
bike.
kind of in the same boat. Yeah, I mean,
right?
Yeah. People would have personal beefs. A lot of times it was about some other shit. You know what I mean? It wasn't really about bike shit. You know what I mean? But
but then it got handled real quick and it was over.
Yeah.
It was like that kind of went away. The internet flap and the social media fucking this cancel culture shit that these new these chopular faggots do. This is lame. It's fucking lame. It's like pissing on what they try to emulate something that they cannot be because they don't understand it. I think a lot of it is generational. I really do. I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But I do get a lot of young cats coming up and messaging me and like, hey man, I read your stuff and a lot of it hurts because it's pointed at me. And I'm like, no, it's not pointed at you. Don't think it's pointed at you. You're not doing that, and so you got to take and that's the thing too. Anything I say, anything you say, anything fucking whoever says, take it with a fucking grain of salt, man. Who gives a fuck what anybody? Dude, I never have given a shit.
And I don't know. And I'm pretty sure you're probably the same way. If I got someone to say to somebody, Like I'll say it directly to them. If you're reading something that I might post on the internet and you're taking it personal, that's on your conscience or like your insecurity.
Because you know you're dirty.
Because I'm not pointing you out. Like if I was pointing you out, I would point you out directly.
I'm tagging you.
Yeah, or I wouldn't even put it online because I don't even get down like that. I would talk to you in person.
No,
you know
I don't.
What I mean? And
that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Or directly if you lived, somewhere else in another country or something, and I couldn't get there. But I would talk to you directly and be like, "Yo, what the fuck's up with this?" You know what I mean?
There's no smoke and mirrors. It's all legit. Face value, straight up all the time.
It's pretty much the easiest way to be, and for some reason, it seems like to me it's the easiest thing. But in this day and age, it seems like the hardest thing. I see, and I think maybe this is what you're talking about, but I see a lot more weird passive aggressiveness now than I've ever seen in our worlds, and I take it personal because like these were the last bastions of honor, word is bond, fucking, you say you're gonna do something, or if I say I'm going to do something, hold me to it, and I expect it, and it's not like that anymore. And I've gotten burnt a couple of times, by people where they say they're going to, and I just take it on word.
Come through.
Like I'm ready to start doing fucking contracts with motherfuckers nowadays. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm like, I can't take anyone, I can't take handshakes and fucking anymore because people don't follow through, and it's just kind of like, well, I don't know, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, no, fuck you, motherfucker. We're not the same fucking.
Yeah,
we're not cut from the same cloth.
We're not, and that's a fact. And and so, like you say, so it's very passive aggressive. It's very backstabby. It's not what it should be. And I'm not talking any global shit anymore. I'm talking about our scene, the chopper scene. It's not what it should be. You shouldn't be taking. We'll go back on these invited builder shows. When that kicked off, at first I'm like, that's cool. It's going to be cool because they're going to highlight guys that have had skin in the game. And now I realize that you're going to run through those guys pretty quick. So what do? You got to bring up other guys. Now, the other guys aren't fucking in the game as long. So the capitalist side of it is what I think really got it down. Instead of highlighting skill and longevity and all the thing, it just became who's going to make the craziest piece of shit that doesn't fucking run, and who's got the biggest online personality, who's got the most followers. I get that all the time. I was like, you only got 1,500 followers now. I was like, well, I had 40,000, then I had 10, then I got, the Instagram commie motherfuckers are out my ass, and a lot of it is these motherfuckers that we're talking about. That's what they do. They go report every post I make, and so then I get banned because they're little bitches and they won't say shit to my face. That's an invite, and you motherfuckers out there got something to say, just fucking hit me up in DMs. I'll fucking hook up. That's it.
The follower thing is like I always say, it's quality, not quantity. Like
that's it.
Like I'd rather have whatever, like 2,000 fucking really fucking solid motherfuckers than fucking 40,000 fucking whatevers.
That's it. That you boil it down to the fucking real cream, and sadly, society's moved on, and like we kind of talked before we started, the podcast. Guys like me and you and guys of our generation, I'm not going to put a bunch of guys' names on there because they might be like, oh man, I didn't want you to say my name on the podcast or whatever. But the friends of mine and stuff like that, we just generally don't give a fuck. That's it. That's kind of the difference now, is everybody cares too much what everybody thinks. I built my choppers how I wanted them. I built them to do what I wanted them to do, not because what's Born Free going to think, or what's whatever show going to think. Am I going to get invited? I'm building a bike to get invited. I built bikes to ride them. I built them to ride, and if you liked it, sweet. If you didn't, I don't give a fuck. It's not your bike. I built it for me. That's it. Or I built it for my customer. That's what he wanted, and I would lean on my customers. For forever, mostly, I would be guys that hit me up, and I'd be like, okay, what kind of bike are you looking at? Long bike, short bike, fucking bobber, whatever term you want to drop. What are you looking at? And so I'd say, send me a picture of what you're looking at. Kind of a Frost Lord kind of chopper. Are you looking at something long, knuckle? What are you looking for? And then I would that's my fucking blank canvas. I'm like, all right, I'm going to fill in whatever, maybe a little more rake, maybe a little less, maybe longer front end, whatever paint, and you flush it out. And guys that hit me up, halfway through the build, they'd be like, oh yeah, I saw so-and-so had these crazy bars. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to fucking emulate or copy anybody else's shit.
Yeah.
And here's why. This is the aesthetic. So when I build a bike, it's a painting. You're flushing out your piece of artwork. If you take and put a booger on a Mona Lisa, it's going to fucking ruin the painting.
Yeah.
You know, the shape and the form has to come together to make the right bike. That's most oftentimes I see bike where I'm like, almost, bro, you fucked it up by copying so-and-so's pipes or making something over the top.
Yeah.
That just doesn't fit. It didn't fit there. You don't have to make everything crazy. You can make it fucking tidy. That's a timeless, like late 60s style, Southern California fucking, you know, kind of an HA fucking chopper is always my best. Stock fucking frame, you know, stock front end, just a tidy. That's my favorite style.
Yeah,
maybe a little rake, maybe a little bit longer. But when it gets too clownish, it just turns into that. It's a clown show.
Yeah.
And then it becomes unrideable. And, you know, of course you can fucking ride it. You know, of course you can ride it, but are you really riding it? Are you really fucking banging corners and scraping pegs? And yeah, maybe not. You might not be doing that, likely. And then it's going to break in half and your shit's going to fall apart. But I always kind of went at it like that. And then in later years, you know, and the kind of funny thing is I kept my price scheme is the exact same as it was for the very first fucking bike I built. I never fucking got this ego that, oh, I'm, you know, doing this and that. I built some high dollar bikes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But, you know, my average bike, I got to say, it's got to be in like less than 30, like 25. I would say probably would be my total career average.
Yeah.
There's a few outliers up there that were, you know, closer maybe to 50, but I've never sold a bike over 50 grand. Never.
Yeah.
And I don't think maybe some original knucklehead stuff I did go over 50 on.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
that's original knucklehead shit. I mean, what are you going to do? You know, that's a different cat.
That's market shit now,
Yeah, and I always felt that way. I was like, God, you know, I want to sell bikes to the fucking working man, the real dude. You know, that, hey, man, you're spending 20 G's on a bike, 25 G's on a bike. That's a huge fucking whack. And I would get guys, regular guys, military guys, whatever, that, I want to be. I'm like, are you sure, man? You know, because I just don't have wiggle room. By the time I do parts and everything, you know, historically, I was always like, $5,000 is my fucking labor and fabrication and everything, and then the bike and paint and everything else is above. And then a lot of guys are like, oh man, so and so told me it was $15,000. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should be doing that, but I got to do what I feel my conscience at.
Sure, yeah.
You know, me building a bike. You know, the labor, and that used to be. Now it's fucking $10,000. Period. I'm not, because just the way things are anymore. I'm just not fun, and I don't really want to build bikes for people anymore. Very few select people. Last couple of builds I've done have just been really unrewarding. I mean, extremely unrewarding. You know, it just, you know, you try to hook some, you know, kind of famous people up, and because it's a good business, you know, you put a bike with the right person, so you fucking kick yourself in the nuts, and then they just take advantage, you know, and then it turns into a thing where you're like, well, fuck it, fuck you, you fuck off, you know, enjoy your bike, but don't ever come back. I don't even want to fucking talk to you. And it is a bummer.
You're like, don't even send me anybody either, because if they roll with you, it's like,
you're out. you're fucking 86, your whole fucking crew, everybody. And it's a bummer because, you know, I love fucking bikes and I always have loved them and I always will. But these days, you know, this is the very first year that I'm not building a new bike for myself or a shop type bike. Yeah. I'm just not. I got parts laying around out there. I got a couple builds. I'm doing a really fucking killer knucklehead for a guy. It's a 41 knucklehead. And then I'm doing another one that's a very slow project for a really cool cat. He's a famous dude, but he's a really, really fucking legit good dude. And I kind of feel bad because we kind of started that before COVID and, you know, we got the parts bought and then everything just kind of stopped. Like last year I went into a straight funk because I'm just like reading and kind of you know, just getting prepared and just trying to understand, you know, how are we here? What are we doing? So I didn't do a whole lot last year. I flipped some bikes, flipped some cars and, you know, we kind of talked about that, you know, how I had to getting some of this really high dollar shit. And it's funny because a lot of people have this misconception that I'm some fucking, you know, rich millionaire guy. And I'm like, no, I'm a regular dude. I count my fucking dollars, man. I count my dollars. I wear the same fucking pair of pants for a fucking 1,000 years. I got shirts that I still have from fucking high school, dude. I mean, you know, I still got my original fucking Choppahead fucking hoodie. It's up there. I still got it. It's a little worn out, but I got it. I got it.
Those early ones, dude, they were on, like, I can't get those hoodies anymore, but they lasted forever.
Bulletproof.
Yeah.
That fucker went to Mexico twice. I rode it to Canada. I mean, it's been fucking everywhere. The hood's like almost white now, but it's it's together. And and people, like I said, people get these misconceptions that oh, I'm going to be a rich, famous bike builder. Yeah,
no,
you're not really. You're not, dude. No, you're not. Getting invited to every show ain't going to make you rich. It's going to make you fucking poor.
It's going to make you poor.
But
it's like it's what I tell people.
The secret is velocity.
And I kept the bike we did for Born Free, but I tell people like how much money I lost to build that bike? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, and how much, because, like we couldn't do, shop work, like the shit for customer work. We had to do a lot of time on that bike. And it was like, I didn't sell it, I should have, but like, it was just like one of those things.
Now it's over. You're going to have to fucking raffle it like every other clown.
Yeah. You know what?
Sorry.
I know.
It's tough.
I'm very torn about the fucking raffle shit because I feel, here's the thing is like, when you're making your whole subsistence off it, it's like a little suspect. But for me, I see it as a way where a guy who couldn't or a gal who couldn't afford like a cool bike or car, like can take that chance. Like it's better than any Vegas odds. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but what I don't like is when someone takes a $5,000 fucking shovel head and tries to sell 150 tickets at $100. Like, I'm like, come on, man, don't be a fucking dick. Like, you're just being opportunist about shit. But
and then they're fucking people, and that's what happened. So I raffled a bike, and I gave a shitload of money to charity. Yeah. But it was right at the very beginning. I think I'd seen like one or two other raffles. I think Carmine had done one.
Yeah.
The VCP guys. Shout out to fucking great bros and good dudes. But they did one, and so I actually hit Carmine up. I was like, hey, dude, I got this bike, and I think I want to do a raffle on it. And I said, but here's the deal: I don't want to be part of it because I'd seen raffles go, and there's some cat in California that raffles junk all the time, and and I'm just shady raffles like, oh, weird, his buddy got it, a lot of fucking stuff like that, and that even happened at Born Free. There was some, a lot of people talking about, oh, so and so won this bike, and it was fucking rigged, and whether it was or not, I have no care or opinion. I don't give a fuck. But there was stink in the air about it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So you like if you did the raffle, you wanted nothing to do with it, so it couldn't come back to look sketchy in any way. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, hands off. I'm like, look, you handle it. I'll fucking line out what the prizes are. I'll handle everything on my end. But I want you guys to call the numbers and do it on your own deal. I don't even need to be on the live feed. That's how I did it. I did it one time. My raffle fucking sold out in less than 48 hours, and it was done. And I'll never ever do another one again.
Yeah.
And for no particular reason than just a principle for me. But, I look at it like this. It is the evolution of how things have progressed. And you're right. It does allow people that couldn't afford it to get in there. But the flip side of that coin is that it hurts the bike market.
Yeah.
Overall. It hurts the builder overall. It does. It devalues the builder. And the same thing with these invite shows. You've been building bikes for 20 odd years or whatever. You're going to go compete and most likely lose again, unless for whatever reason you don't. But you're going to go against a guy that doesn't ride bikes, hasn't ever been on the bike, and he's a fashion accessory. That's what he is.
And he had enough money where that's all he had to do for that year was build that bike. Build that one bike.
That's right.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, he didn't have to be fucking get his knuckles bloody doing customer work at fucking all night or all day, then being like, all right, now I got to go work on my bike.
Yeah.
And then double shift it, and people don't get that. They don't get it. They look at the glitz and glam and they think it's going to be a big deal, and it's really not. And I encourage people that are trying to do it and get in the scene. I don't know if anybody can do it like when we did it when we came up, because it was a different scene. It was more based in riding your bikes, getting a reputation out there as being a legit guy.
Yeah,
it's a different thing right now, but it's not saying it can't go back to that. If people stopped, spending their monies going to these shows like that and saying, hey, look at some of these like Reese Ilster does that Apocalypse run. And there's a couple other good gigs that have these kind of, hey, this is a real chopper deal. We're going to go ride bikes. If your fucking bike don't run, well, you look like an asshole. You don't want to roll out there with these fucking dudes on their fucking homemade bikes. Not, most of them aren't full of, big time chopper shops. They're fucking Joe Schmo in the fucking yard building his chopper. But guess what? That motherfucker's riding it every day, all day. He packs his fucking tool bag on the back and goes to work. So it's a different class. It's a different crowd, and that's my crowd. That's what I would like to see get back into the shows. And there was what was that golden ticket one or whatever they were doing in California where they had to ride like 20 miles in LA or something. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. That's not fucking real. I mean, it's fucking fake as shit. It's Hollywood, bro. That's a joke. That's a joke. I saw that and people were sending me shit about it. And, so-and-so won the show a bunch of times because it's got a reliability run. I'm like, reliability run? What's that mean? Oh yeah, they ride like 20 miles in LA. And I'm like, man, my test run is 200 miles in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not going coffee shop to coffee shop and taking pictures all the time. So I don't know. I sound like a fucking snobbish asshole on that, but fuck you. I don't care. That's real. That's how I think.
No, I mean that's
the reality.
I was like, that's why I wanted you to have on because you have a unique way of thinking about things, and you're saying your perspective. Love it or hate it.
And like I said, my opinion don't fucking matter. Don't care. You can love it or hate it. It doesn't matter to me, and it should matter to you. Don't get offended. Just don't be a pussy. Just don't be a pussy. Don't get offended, man.
My thing is,
right.
there's. I always like to do. I don't know, like. There's always a benefit, like, of talking to an array of people because you get different perspectives.
Yeah.
Maybe you pick up on some shit, and maybe it doesn't resonate right now, but maybe a year from now, something clicks, and you're like, oh shit, yeah, I remember hearing something like this, and blah blah blah. And it's just trying to put fucking shit out there. You know what I mean? And
right.
It is what it is. But it is, and like you just saying this, like, hey man, get back to doing like riding shows and stuff. Like, maybe that influences some kid, and then it starts a whole fucking wave. You know what I mean? Of like the young kids that we don't know that are fucking 18-year-olds right now that are building their sporty choppers and fucking, but they're more stoked on riding it and fucking hanging out than they are about a trophy or some shit. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'd like to see. Get back to it. Don't worry about anything else other than making your bike run. And learning how to keep it running, and you're going to figure that out.
And safe.
Yeah, it's sketchy. Yeah, I hate that whole thing with these fucking assholes running around sketchy choppers, are awesome, eat ass and ride sketchy choppers or whatever fucking clown shit they come up with. I'm like, yeah, the sketchy should be the fucking rider. My bikes are solid, but I'll do some sketchy ass shit on them. That's a different thing. Yeah. It's not, your piece of crap fucking bike. It's just a piece of shit. It's not wrecking bikes isn't cool because they break in half because it's junk. That's not fucking cool.
Yeah, it's
not cool at all.
Wrecking bikes cool because you jumped over some shit you shouldn't have jumped on. You know what I mean? Jumped over or something. That's cool. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only thing I'll intervene on. Like I don't like I said like. When you get into like customs, like whether it's cars or bikes or whatever, like it's all taste and someone's, and I would never shit on somebody.
Personal perspective.
Yeah. And like some kid who slaved away and like, saved his money and worked on his bike at nights and weekends, and maybe it's not like the coolest thing out there, and like you see dudes shitting on it, I'm like, no, fuck that. It's about that dude's heart. But the only thing I will shit on is if there's some shit like that's just fucking dangerous. I'm like, yo, that's dumb. Dude.
Retarded.
Like, what are you doing?
That's
like,
retarded.
What are you doing? You're gonna get fucking hurt on this fucking thing. Like, like that is gonna fucking fall apart under your fucking foot. And you're gonna fucking crash. And you might take someone out with you, like that's riding next to you. You know what I mean? And
that's exactly it. Or fucking a car with kids in it, or who knows what you got going on.
Think a little bit.
Think a little bit and stop.
And it's funny that you hear two chopper dudes talking about that, but it's fucking real. Right?
It's funny. It's real. We've been around a long time and we've seen shit break that you're like, wow, that was bad news. I've had a lot of dudes when I lived down in New Mexico, guys would roll through, on the way out to shows or whatever, and they'd stop over, we'd have drinks and cook some food and hang out and shoot the shit. And, I always, you end up looking at bikes and stuff, and I'd be like, whoa, no, that's fucking bad, dude. Let me fix that up. I got to fix this because I can't let you leave with that like that.
Yeah, that's how it is with my shop.
Yeah, I can't.
People come in for a tire and their bearings are shot and they don't want to replace their wheel bearings. It's like, and I don't want to put this out there because then everyone will take advantage, but I'm going to put new bearings in that, whether you pay for them or not, because it's not going to be on me that you go down the road and your wheel bearing blows out at 80 miles an hour on the highway. Yeah, like I don't want to deal with that. You know what I mean? But
it's not a good look. Yeah,
it's just But and it's just I don't know. There's enough sketchy shit happening on the road with distracted drivers where you need to be on something that's going to reliably get you out of the way of that. You know what I mean? That's what's cool. That's what's cool to me. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, staying upright is cool to me. I like that. I like that part. I don't like that. I don't like crashing bikes. Knock on wood. I have never had a bad bike wreck, but you know, I don't want to talk about it because you call that fucking, you ring that bell, you might get the demon. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you know, and I always think too, though, just like it is a balance of like form and function, but function should take the priority.
Always.
If you gotta choose between the two, like save up and get a nice paint job later, you know what I mean? But make sure the thing's fucking solid, you know?
Solid. Make sure you know how to fucking weld, which surprising. That's the first thing that always, the first thing that anybody ever asks for advice. I'm like, look, if you want to be a bike builder, be a welder.
Yeah.
Learn how to weld. Go to your community college, do whatever. Be a fucking welder. First and foremost, you don't need to be a machinist. You don't need to be anything else other than a fucking welder and understand metallurgy. That's it. You build the best bikes by being the best welder. The best guys I know that are the best bike builders ever are great welders. Every one of them. All the guys that build bikes that are clowny and stupid are shitty welders. You know, you're breaking stuff off with your fucking hand. I've had a ton of big name bikes, big famous guy bikes coming in, you know, to my shop for fucking repairs. And I'm like, what the fuck? You paid what for this bike?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you know, and then it puts me in a fucking bind because you know what I do? I fucking do the right thing and I hook the guy up. So I take it out of my pocket when the other fucking dildo from, I'm not even gonna name names, but any fucking, there's a bunch of them and most people know who's fucky. Well, they used to anyways, but I'm not gonna take a customer to task and be like, yeah, I got to completely refabricate this bike. Slip me 10 G's, you know, I'm not doing that. You know, I just make it right and charge them an hourly fucking on it and get it out of there and know that they're not going to fucking die due to me, you know, due to me not fixing the fuck up of some other asshole, that fucking Johnny come lately biker guy that, you know, wanted to be famous and get invited to the big stand around, you know, just soaked a guy over on it. You know, that's just fucked. And that's a sad statement. And not to say that the new era guys are any worse than the old era guys, because I know some old fucking schoolie shops that are rat bastard motherfuckers too.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of that out there, and it's just, you know,
and it always amazes me because I've always felt like, man, if you screw people over, you know, you ain't gonna be long in this world. But there's some motherfuckers that have made careers. I'm like, how are you still around, dude? Like fuck. like how are you finding new people to host? Like, it's crazy.
I don't get it. Well, you know, and pretty much without exception, every one of those guys that is like that is the guy that he's everybody's buddy. He's patting everybody on the back at the big stand around show. He's he's a nice guy. Oh, he's a family guy. He's this or that. You know, that's how they play it, dude. It's like a used car salesman. Yeah. They lube you up with their kindness, be a big sweet guy, then they fucking slip it right in you.
Yeah. Big friendly, accessible guy. Yeah. I'd rather be the guy.
All my friends are not fucking friendly.
Yeah.
We're not friendly. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you're real. You're not trying to fucking grease anybody up. You're going to say it like it is. That's it.
Yeah. I'm usually the guy that's funny. Off in the corner with a couple of friends just fucking drinking and having a good time by ourselves.
Ghosting. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's me. I ghost. I can't handle it. I'm out. I'm like, I don't like talking to people that much, and I'm very socially awkward. I fucking get freaked out in crowds. I just don't like any of that shit. I don't like anything about
it. Especially now, you're out there, and so you're not used to having to be around a lot of people, you know, if you don't want to.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how I just stayed living. So I just get real uncomfortable in people's situations like that. And, you know, if it's at my place, I don't mind it, you know, but it's a very limited select few that come around here, you know, and that's, you know, that's how it is. I get a lot of people that are, hey, I'm coming through. Can I stop? And I'll either be like, yeah, nah, I'm fucking busy, or, you know, I got something. Because if I don't know you, I don't feel like I want to force. I don't want to force knowing you. You know, if I meet you by chance or whatever, cool. I like that. I don't like the fucking forced meeting, and I get it. That's kind of probably a character flaw of mine. You know, I don't really want to meet people.
No, but it's also different too, because like they're coming to your house. That's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, my shop has always been at my house, so I'm inviting you into my fucking personal space.
Yeah,
you know, it's not like the shop.
For me, it's like my shop. I'm only a couple miles away, but I'm still like, it's at the shop. It's kind of neutral territory.
Yeah,
you're not in my domicile where I fucking rest my head. You know what I mean? Like it's
you're
different.
right. Yeah, you're stepped out. Yeah, it's a different gig. And so if you do come over here, it's a big deal. You know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's a big deal, but you know, and we kind of talked about, you know, the past couple builds have just not been that great for me, and I've just really scaled. I actually ghosted my website, took it down. Not that websites really generate traffic, I guess, anymore, unless you're like a lowbrow or one of these guys. It's just a part sailor. You know, that's what they do, is just sell parts.
Yeah.
And a different animal, you know, and so I ghosted that, and you know, I ran off the social media, but then, you know, the fucking commies at Facebook and the little fucking piss pants fucking newfangled chopper guys or whatever they are, or whoever's reporting all my stuff, you know, they got me banned a bunch, so my audience gets chopped every time, and now I'm down to the small part, and I'm not trying to sell anything, you know, I'm not really trying. I buy and sell parts. I'll flip bikes here and there. I flip cars, or get them and build them and fix them up and sell them, or, you know, whatever. It's a different gig for me. I spend more time these days building horses than I do building choppers. Perfectly honest, you know, I mean, I'm out here working and, you know, building horses more than I am the choppers. I'm still out there doing the choppers, but it's sad to say that it's not where my heart is anymore, and it definitely feels like I'm missing something because of it. But you know, for all the reasons we talked about, it doesn't appeal to me as much anymore. I love riding my bike. As a matter of fact, this is, you know, people are going to fucking, you know, take this for what it's worth, but I just got a new fucking Pan Am. You know, I did some trading for some chopper shit that I had, and I'm buddies with the dealership guy down here. He's a Marine too.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I'd really like to have this bike, you know, these parts and stuff. And I was like, well, you know, I'd like to have a new Pan Am. And he's like, come get it. You know, and I'm like, all right. And so with that note on Pander Davidson, which is what I call Harley Davidson now, Pander Davidson, so they can fly their rainbow flag and Black Lives Matter fist on the side of their building, or whatever the shit they're doing these days. But they knocked that bike out of the park. You know, I honestly really was didn't really give it a lot of fucking hope, because, you know, I had a Buell Ulysses, and, you know, and I ride my bikes, you know, I've ridden choppers over the fucking mountains and dirt and fucking sand dunes. I do all that kind of shit.
You're an old dirt rider, and you live in the mountains. So like, you're going to put this thing to the fucking test. That's why I was so bummed out when you told me you loved it the other day. 'Cause I was like, damn, I didn't want this fucking bike, dude. I wanted you to say, nah, fuck this thing. And I was like, so I could be like, cool, get it out of my head. I was like,
yeah. So far, you know, I got about 1,000 miles on that bike, and a month ago, one of my horses, you know, me and him had a fucking fight, and he broke my ribs and split my skull open, and, you know, I got banged up pretty good on that one. So I haven't I'm pretty well healed up, right? I'm back lifting and doing stuff now, but, you know, they're still sore. It takes fucking ribs take a while to heal, man. That's the way it is. But so I haven't really fucking banged this thing hard in the dirt, but I put, you know, maybe 20 something miles on dirt in it, and totally off road, like no roads, dirt, you know, but nothing single track. And so one of my friends, the guy who's a big BMW guy, Paul at Bare Knuckle Chappers, he's got a BMW, and he rides his BMW and loves it. I don't like those bikes. They don't suit me right. I've ridden a bunch of them. I've considered getting them, and a good buddy of mine has one. He's got a 19. We actually did a few hundred miles like last week or whatever it was, just to ride them side by side, but go back and forth, swap them out. You know, hey, ride my bike. All right. It was a really great way to do it. And BMW, fantastic bikes. It was really fucking awesome bike. Been in the game a long time. It's the grand old man. You know, that's the grand old man. That's like the fucking benchmark of these dual sport type bikes, you know, the adventure bikes. And honestly, the fucking Harley, I rode them side by side. I would take it. I've had the KTM. I've ridden the KTMs. I've had, I've had the Guzzi. I had a Quota. I've had a bunch of these bikes over the years, and ridden them all in all different conditions. And really, fucking Harley did a good job. This is a completely proprietary. I don't want to sound like a commercial, because I don't fucking care for the factory that much. But I'm not the kind of guy that's just going to paint myself into a corner and say, fuck you. You know, if you show me something, I'm going to look at it and be like, okay, I'm going to take and make my own opinion with this. That's what I did with this bike. You know, would I have went and bought it if I didn't have a good trade in it? No, but that goes across the board with everything. It's about leveraging your money correctly. So it worked good for me. I wanted one. I was interested in one, but I was like, I'm not going to go spend like 20, 25 grand, you know, all kit it out, set it up, you know? But it worked out, and I'm glad I got it. The bike's phenomenal. I haven't really, the only things I can really ding on it is it should have come with a fucking radiator guard and the full skid plate from the factory. That's ludicrous. For 20 grand, that should have, especially on the S. I say, like the stripped down model, fine. Don't put that shit on there. But if you're paying for the S with the upgrades and the crash bars, all that shit, put the fucking safety kit on it. It should have all that stuff.
Yeah.
Ergonomically wise, for me, it sits really good. I like that it has 2 different seating positions from the factory. You can raise it or lower it if you're short legs or longer legs. It makes a big difference.
And it has the auto like leveling, right? Like if you come to a stop, it dips down a little bit.
Yeah, my S doesn't have that. There's 3 levels on the suspension. They've got the manual adjust, they've got the semi-active, and then they got the full active. And the full active is the one that'll drop down at 2 inches at the stop light or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't have that one. I've got the one that has it automatically adjusts for weight. So it sets your damping and all that stuff up for the weight in real time, live. It's pretty bitchin'.
That's cool. So if you get a passenger, it adjusts for the passenger.
It adjusts it.
Yeah.
And it fucking works, dude. It works. I've tested it out. I've tried it. I've loaded it and done other things just to see what it did. It fucking works great. And the settings in it, like the S has, 4 factory settings. It's like rain, street, off-road, sport. It's got all these different ones. And then it's got 2 slots that you can build your own. So you can be like, oh, I want the tune of the sport mode, but I want the traction control of the dirt mode, or the suspension settings of the street and the sport. And you can mix and match and make a pretty bitchin' program yourself out of it. So it's kind of a neat feature. Like I said, the little things that I can ding on it are small, like the screen, the view screen on it. The font's too small.
Yeah.
And it's a little dark. The factory risers for me are too low, but they have a 2-inch up version, which I'll get, but that kind of gets into your view screen. So that's kind of a fault. The windscreen works great. Actually amazingly well, better than really any other fairing I've ever had. Even on them, I've got a KTM 1290 Super Duke, and it works just as good or better than that one does with an aftermarket windscreen on it. Huh. So that's pretty bitchin'. Power, great. I mean, it's not like my 1290 KTM. Granted, it's a different bike. That's a Super Duke, so it's a more of a hot rod. It's more of a super bike.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that same raw fucking like wheelie all the way through 4th gear, no problem kind of power. But this thing does fucking rip. It rips good. And mine's stock. They don't really have a lot of performance upgrades yet for it. I've got the slip-on, the factory slip-on. That was part of my deal.
Yeah.
So I got that.
I didn't see that. What's the? Because that is one of the points where just from like just looking at it, like the pipe that's on it is kind of fucking ugly. You know what I mean? And I know it's probably just like every other Harley pipe where it's super neutered. You know what I mean? Like
super quiet, big. It's got a big can underneath it. And it's just a big bulky piece of shit. I think the benefit that you get out of the Screaming Eagle, it's a titanium skinned pipe, I believe is what it is. It's not really any louder, which is fine. This kind of bike, I don't want it loud. You're in the mountains, and if that's the type of ride you're doing, you don't want a big fucking barking loud motherfucking bike. You kind of get rid of weight is what it is with it. And weight is good. The bike is light as it is, and you shave some weight, that's even better.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really haven't found anything bad. Now I have heard, one of my buddies who is a hater, he hates these fucking bikes. For whatever reason, he just won't accept it. But he's like, well, watch out for that top tree. I've heard that the top trees are breaking. I was like, well, I look and I haven't found that yet. I haven't run mine hard enough to break anything like that on it yet.
Yeah.
Not that I really want to try to break my fucking top tree. It sounds like a good way to go to the hospital. I'm not looking for that, but I'm doing research. I'm reading up on it to see if there's anything going on with it. I haven't found anything yet with it. So that,
it always seems like with the first generation of whatever's launched, you know what I mean?
You're going to find stuff.
They're going to find stuff down the road, and just hopefully Harley does the right thing. Not like the fucking cam chain tensioners on an early fucking twin cam where they like let it ride for 6 years of like fucking bullshit. You know what I mean?
Wash their hands of it. Yeah. So, and I talked to my buddy, the dealer, and another buddy of mine I went to high school with is the head mechanic down there. He's their fucking lead guy down there. And they, send them off to school. And the Harley dealers are not allowed to touch anything. You go in with a problem on the motor, they pull the entire motor and it goes back to factory.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool for now because they're trying to keep everything real. And this is a completely proprietary motor. There's nothing copied on this motor. It's all fucking new shit. It's all brand new shit. Yeah. It's not a rewarmed V-Rod motor. It's a totally different animal. And, and I think they did a good job with it. I mean, it's smooth. It makes good power. It makes power where you want it. And, like with anything, I think there's a lot of room for tune. Of course, in any fucking new bike, you're going to find a lot just by modifying tune. And when that happens, when performance stuff comes, I'll probably start tinkering with it and seeing what we can do. Probably the single biggest thing I hate about this fucking bike, but I guess the Indian FDR is the same way. You have to take the fuel tank off to service the fucking air filter.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that? It's a fucking joke. I mean, I'm like, that's retarded. An air filter is like a 101 fucking maintenance thing. You got to be able to get to that. You got to take the whole fucking tank off, and it's really not that fucking easy to pull the tank on this. It's kind of a big deal.
Is it? Yeah.
That's kind of a dick move right there. But what are you going to do with that?
That's like those Indian scouts, man. Like with the first time I had one of those in here, and someone we do like a full service on it. I was like, all right, so we're going to take the tank off to get to the air cleaner. Okay. Oh, we're going to take the top. I got to take the top frame rail off to get to the fucking spark plugs. Fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fucked. Yeah.
And on those, the motor is the bottom of the frame. So it's like, you got to have it all set up, and I was like, fuck this, man.
Yeah. It's a little much. Well, and that's kind of where Harley over the years has gone with their bikes. Less, shovelhead up to really into Evo. Joe Schmo can fucking work on those, figure them out with a regular set of tools.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you have to have an extremely dedicated, specific, spendy set of tools really to work on these things correctly.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, but what am I going to do about it? Fuck, that's the way
of the world.
That's the way they've done it. It's the way of the world. The same with my fucking truck. I got an 18 Cummins out here. I don't even change the fucking oil in the thing. You don't even want to touch it. It's all fucking wires. Everything's connected to everything.
Yeah.
I'm actually tomorrow. I'm going down and picking up a 96 12 valve. Fuck it. I'm getting another old one. I just want a fucking truck that you can actually really work on and doesn't need electronics to go for when they fucking pop one of these EMPs off. My fucking Cummins is gonna run. But no, I mean,
unfortunately, when that happens, all I'm gonna have is a lowered C10 and a fucking 67 Impala. Like, not gonna really help me too much.
You might want to look at getting a 12 out.
Yeah, and a 41 Ford. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I don't know. I mean, I think that this Pan Am's going to do a good job for them. I hope they do good with it, because Harley needs to do something. They've fucked themselves in the ass forever. And really, they're playing to the wrong markets. They're jumping all over. They've always had historically shitty technology and overpriced bikes. But it is what it is. They relied on the core people, and now that core people is, like I said, we got a generational thing happening. These new guys are coming up. They don't want to fucking road glide, now that they're pushing this performance bagger, they're racing baggers and shit. I'm just like, oh God.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Fuck.
I know.
A lot of guys are into it, and a lot of guys are going to make money selling parts to it. But I see a fucking road glide on a track, and I laugh.
Yeah.
I laugh. It's fucking stupid. It's fucking stupid.
It's not what it's for. It's for
man. Come on.
For long rides, dude. Like that's why, we won't. I won't do it here. Like people come in and can you put like a 30-inch front wheel on my street glide? I'm like,
no.
Yeah. Physically, yes, I can, but will I? No. Like you're taking me. But, like I understand. Like you want to build like a weird radical chopper. Like I'm a chopper guy. I get it. But you're taking a bike that's not like that's made to be your long distance bike, and you're making it fucking unrideable, dude. What do you want to do that for?
You're taking away everything that should be good, and like we go back, we've said it a bunch of times. Hey, that's my opinion. Who gives a fuck? Don't listen to me. I don't care. Don't bother me. Don't lose any sleep over it. Exactly, it's my bag.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't lose any sleep over it. Sorry, Bagger Nation racers or whatever clubs fucking they're creating for this kind of thing. I don't know. I think it's stupid and it's fucking dumb. Now, do I like watching fucking, Isle of Man and fucking any of that superbike? Hell yeah. That's fucking racing. That's real racing. Yeah, that's real racing. I like that.
Yeah.
So, whatever, take it for what it's worth, but the Pan Am thing, I think they're going to do good with it.
It was a ballsy move because they came out and they're outpriced. Like you said, like their history of being expensive, but they're coming in at a higher price point than a lot of like BMW and even some KTM stuff. And it's like, man, you're a fucking, this is your first step into this in fucking decades. Like fucking really?
Right.
So that's why I was like,
ever. I mean, I don't even consider the Buell, the Ulysses, anything.
Yeah.
They tried it. That was a travesty, and I had one. So I only speak from things I know that personally, you know, and that was a piece of shit. And this new one is definitely not, you know, and I've had a couple of people say, well, you know, it doesn't do this or it doesn't do that. And I'm like, well, and then we're talking about dirt riding. And I'm like, okay, well, let's be fucking real here. All right.
Yeah.
I probably ride more dirt just by where I live naturally than a lot of guys will, you know, on normal days, you know, regular trip type stuff. If I want a dirt bike that's going to go rock climbing and single tracking, I'll fucking get a dirt bike.
Yeah,
right?
Like a straight dirt bike. Yeah.
The straight dirt bike. This is a adventure bike. It's really designed to hit some fire roads, cross some creeks, maybe do a little bit of single track. But let's be real. It's a fucking big. It's, you know, it's light. It actually is really light and really nimble feeling, but it's still, you know, fucking 500-600 pounds or whatever it is. And it is what it is. It's not a dirt bike. People need to get that in their fucking heads. You know, the people that are hating on it are like, oh, this and that, and BMW does that. It's got this and that. Well, BMWs ain't fucking single track. And it's sure, yes, people do it. Yeah, of course. Professional riders go do it. Would I do it on this one? Sure. I'm a good rider. I grew up riding dirt. I know how to do it. Am I telling you, you're going to go adventure ride and never had a background of riding on dirt, and you're going to take your fucking, you know, adventure bike and go single track it and climb rocks? You're going to wreck.
Yeah.
You're going to wreck.
But if you don't have a history of it, you're going to probably wreck it on a dirt bike too. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You're not going to make it. So let's be real. It's a street bike. You're going to go adventure tour. You can go camp. You can go off road. You can hit fire roads. You can go do some fun remote shit that you can't get to on your road glide, right? Or whatever your street bike is, whatever it is, your chopper even, you know, or whatever. So I think they hit it. I mean, I've ridden it on the dirt. I've ridden it on the street. It handles great. It's fast. It stops great. Fucking suspension is great. Motor's smooth. It works. I got 1,000 miles on it. Maybe it'll blow up tomorrow. I don't fucking know. I don't know.
We'll have to talk in like 3-4 months and see, like, get the update.
yeah, for sure. And you know, like I tell everybody, hey, I'm not selling Harley for Harley. I don't give a fuck that Harley, as far as I know, hates me because I shit talk them all the fucking time. I tag them and say some bullshit on there.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not gonna fucking say they didn't do a good job. And they really came into me like fucking, you know, kind of ballsy. You know, they came into a market that's well established. KTM, fucking BMW, and Ducati have had really high end, the top of the food chain. That's who they are. Fucking, you know, dual sport bikes out for a long time. The grandparents, they got years of fucking figuring out what works and what doesn't. Yeah. Harley jumped nuts in that market. They have the Street Fighter, which that Street Fighter platform for this motor would be fucking fantastic. I hope they release it because that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But they didn't release that one. They released the hard one, the tough fucking market, the very fucking tough market.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking radical. That's pretty fucking ballsy. I mean, I tip my hat. You jumped in the ring with a pro. You know what I'm saying?
That's, and also, like, as an added fuck you, that one S colorway is basically KTM colors. So, like, yeah, fuck you.
I know it. I saw that. I'm like, what? That's mine's black. Harley should be black.
Yeah.
So.
No, I know. Like, I was at one of the local dealers out here that we're friends with a bunch of guys at Monty's, and it's like one of the last of like the real old school dealers in Massachusetts. Like,
right.
And they had a black one in the KTM one, and it's just like I just call it the KTM one, and it's just like I was like that paint like, is a little fucking ridiculous. But you know what?
Right.
Do you have the one? Do you have the spokes or do you have the mags?
Spokes.
Yeah, so it's the spokes you can change on the side of the road. It's all accessible.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can change your spokes on the side of the road, but you can't get to your air filter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's fucking wacky.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're like, well, you know, you're gonna be doing so much dirt on this. We gotta hide the filter a little more so it stays clean longer. Maybe that was the.
Maybe that's the idea.
Yeah. I doubt it.
Who knows what the idea is? Yeah, I doubt it, but it works. I like it, you know, and. Take it for what it's worth, you know.
Yeah.
I grew up riding bikes. I've ridden dirt bikes my whole fucking life. I've ridden choppers on the dirt and fucking Dynas on the dirt and FXRs on the dirt and Softails on the dirt, you know, baggers on the dirt, everything on the dirt. You know, I'm no stranger to doing dirt bike shit or street bike shit. And, I've had R1s and fucking Gixxers and fucking every other fast kind of bike too. And this bike really fucking works. It handles good. It works good. The clutch feels great. I thought it was weird. It's got a cable clutch, which I was like, why didn't they put a hydraulic clutch on it? But it has some kind of an adjuster or some kind of a help assist actuator. It feels like a hydraulic clutch. There's no slip or take up or everything on the bike is crisp. I mean, it really does fucking work good. So I think it'll be better. I think people that buy them aren't going to be disappointed. I don't know. Maybe they will be. That's my opinion. I think it's a good bike. I think they did a good job. Time will tell. That's the only thing I know. That's the only thing I know.
So pissed off, man. I didn't want that. I wanted you to be like, fuck that thing. Fucking, I'm trading it back. And I'm like, damn it, man, I don't want one. But
I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I know. That's why, like, when it came from you, I was like, I saw that you got one a few weeks ago or whatever, and I was like, I'm going to give it a little time, and then I'm going to ask him about that. But I was like, let me let him get some miles under it before I ask. Because, initial impressions always can be one way or the other, but, like, I wanted to.
Sure.
I was like, I know he's going to put some miles on this soon, so I'll talk to him in a couple of weeks. I didn't mean to turn this into a 20-minute commercial for it. It's really, it's an interesting.
I hate it.
Yeah. It's an interesting, I've been interested in it since I saw it, you know what I mean? And I was like, I want to, but more was like a morbid curiosity, like what are they doing? Like, how is this going to work? And then it was like, and then it's here, and it's like, all right, well, let's see what it does.
It's here. It's working. I mean, so far I'm happy with it. So if Harley sells any fucking bikes because of me, I better figure out how they're going to give you a cut. I really don't like the idea of fucking pumping Harley because I really don't like their fucking not plagiarizing, but fucking pandering.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It's just like, oh God. Can we just not have pandering?
We just got to reach out. If people buy it because of this podcast, then reach out and make sure they fucking throw Trent some money and they fucking sponsor this podcast.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Though? I don't even know if I'd want them. Like, if they want to make me fucking. Most of the sponsors.
I would say no thanks. I'd say no thanks. Yeah.
Most
my bag.
Literally, most of the sponsors on this thing are like friends of mine, so that's all. You know what I mean?
Right.
But fuck, man, we just did 2 hours on the fucking phone, dude. I don't stay on the phone this long ever, dude. You know what I mean? But it's been a while, man.
We haven't chatted in a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. So
we haven't talked in a long time, and I was reliving some of when me and Nick and Christian crashed at your house when you were in New Mexico.
Yeah.
I was reliving some of that story with someone the other night because I was like, that's the night Nick transformed from being quiet Nick to fucking chatty Nick, and I was like, and I don't know, it was just a long story. I was just laughing my ass off about it. I was like, Nick used to be the quietest dude, and then like one night he was like, bah, 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 bah. And I was like, God damn, dude, Nick, I'm trying to go to sleep, bro. You know what I mean? Fucking, but yeah, good times.
That's good times. Good times, my man.
That was like what? Like that's gonna be like 7-8 years ago now. Anyway, fuck.
Oh God, longer than that. I moved back here 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So
that's probably like 10 years ago.
Fuck, dude. Probably at least 10 years ago, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know if you're like me, but like everything, like I remember shit, but it's all a blur. Like if you ask me when it was, I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I don't have an idea. Yeah. What I do now is like when people ask me shit about, I always try to reference what bike I had built at that time. I was like, Frostlord was like 10 to 12. And, and like, maybe 3 was like 09 or 08 or, Fish Bike was fucking 06 or 5 or something like that. But people ask me, hey, what, you remember that one time? I'm like, no, I don't fucking remember that.
Yeah. Well,
refresh my memory. We're old, man. I got fucking punched in the head a lot of times over the years, and I fucking drink. So
we didn't even talk about you like when you used to train in Thailand and shit like that. That'll be the next one. Yeah, the next one.
We can revisit some other stuff. There's a lot of shit to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, it was fucking good catching up. Where can people find more info? I know your website's down, and I know you got a couple of Instagram accounts that are up for now. You know,
for now.
Till you get reported again, and you got to do it. But yeah, shout those out, and I'll put it in the
I guess my main one is the Atomic Custom V4.0, and then I have Atomic_Citizen, which is shit that's going to offend you, but it might open your mind. That's more political kind of just worldview stuff, and waking people up about a lot of shit we talked about. Then I have my Diamond 4 Bar LLC. That's Diamond with a 4 and then Bar, BAR LLC. That's my family brand that my family homesteaded in Montana in 1913, and that's our original brand, and I carry that today.
Oh, nice.
So that's my that's my horse business kind of stuff.
Cool.
And then I have, I think I have just Atomic Trent. I think it's atomic.trent.official. And that was my backup for when I got banned, but it just kind of turned into more like a personal thing. But the Atomic Custom V 4.0 is kind of like my main chopper one, if that's what, I'm guessing that's what most people, and then the Citizen one probably be the backup. So
cool. Well, yeah, man, I'll put all those in the show notes. And again, thanks for coming on and talking today. And I know you're antisocial like me. So to have a 2-hour conversation, it felt like 5 minutes. Like, it's a good one.
Just because I'm antisocial doesn't mean I don't have shit to say. And
exactly.
Generally, when people like us, when we get talking to other people that are like us, we got a lot to say.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Well, it was good catching up, man. And I appreciate you coming on. And it's fun.
I'm
going to shut this off here, but I'm not hanging up. So hold up one second.